Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drop Frames. It's Sunday. Is this the final Sunday of? It is the final Sunday of August. Somehow, it's getting quicker. It's getting quicker.
Time flies. Jeez.
Time really does flies. You might be wondering why that's not Zeke's voice. It's Dan Esquire Gaming. Zeke is burning. Well, Zeke is at Burning Man. Let's go with that for people that don't understand what I'm saying. Zeke's just in hell. He finally, you know, he's got to pay some time after, you know, it catches up with you. It catches up with you. He'll be gone. Does. Yeah, he'll be gone the next 2 episodes. And if you're paying attention to our episode count, that would be why this is episode 399.5. Okay. And then next week is 399.9. And then September 8th, that will be episode 400. Okay? So you don't have to worry about it. We've got it covered.
That way Zeke doesn't miss the 400th show.
Yeah. That makes sense. I wasn't aware that we were at 400 until I think about 5 hours before Zeke left for Burning. So there was nothing,
checks out.
There was nothing we could do. I don't pay attention to the number around
These
here.
are the filler episodes before we get to the season finale.
That's correct.
That's right.
That's correct. Right. Yeah. That's how it goes.
The filler arc.
Luckily, it's not going to be as boring as your favorite filler episodes because there's so much to talking about. This past week is crazy. This might be one of the most packed. I think it was actually busier than Summer Game Fest was this summer, with all of the GamesCom stuff that came out, with all of the games that came out, with Valve just putting out Deadlock because someone sent an email and thought it would be a good idea, knowing Valve. I don't even know how that all started. It's been a crazy time for just games in general. I was talking to Dan before the show. There are so many games that I want to play at this very moment. There's not enough time in the day. There's really, I think this is one of those lucky times as streamers that we just, as gamers really, that so many different types of games, and they're all incredible, and they all have copious amounts of gameplay. Co, I know you just started Core Keeper this morning because 1.0 hits. That's what, a 50 to 70 hour playthrough or something like that?
Depending on how you play it, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and September's not letting up, right? We got Satisfactory hitting 1.0. We've got Space Marine. Those are within 3 or 4 days of each other. So it's a good time. It's a good time. We're going to do some news first, and then we'll talk about probably Wukong. I think we've all... I've only played 3 hours of it, but I think both of you are very far in it. Where are you guys at chapter-wise, I guess, is a good way to judge that.
I'm getting near the end of chapter 4.
Okay.
And I'm in 3.
Okay, gotcha. Were you guys also embargoed to not play past chapter 3 or something?
I didn't play enough to have to worry about it. So
yeah,
I haven't heard of anything coming from that.
Okay. So. Yeah, that was on Friday, so I think you're fine now. But let's start with Twitch news so that we don't forget it amongst all this gaming news. It's been kind of an interesting week for Twitch. I guess we could start with the good. SUBtember's coming back. That'll be happening on August 29th, funny enough, and lasting all the way till October 1st. I guess bullet points of it, you get 25% off 1 month and 3 month subs, and 30% off 6 month subs for any streamer on the platform. But that is only for first time subs to a new channel. It's not on reoccurring subs. So there's always a little asterisk. If you're looking to get the discount on a returning sub, it won't happen. There's bonus bits. You get 10% to any cheer over 300 starting September 12th. And on September 26th, for any 5 gifted subs, Twitch will add an additional bonus sub there for free. And that lasts September 26th to October the 1st. Valorant is fitting the bill for this, as it's SUBtember on Twitch, presented by Valorant.
Thanks, Valorant.
Yeah, thanks, Valorant. I'm sure all 3 of us will benefit from this. It kind of comes at a weird time with this announcement because...
Yeah, I was going to say, with the extra part, like we'll
Also
see.
this week,
Yeah.
Twitch has upped subscription prices on mobile. So we're all aware that, was it 2 months ago or 3 months ago, they upped the price on desktop to $5.99. And now on mobile only, you will have to pay more. This is to, what do they actually say? What is their, do they have like a reasoning for this? Or how they phrase it?
I think they said want all the money.
Do they want all the money?
We just
That was
want
the
all the
official
money.
press release, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
All of it.
essentially, Apple and Google take a cut of any transactions on their platforms, and so I assume they're trying to offset that. But ultimately, what it means is never subscribe through mobile. It's $7.99 now for a tier 1 sub here in the U.S., and I believe it's regional as well. But like,
That's terrible.
don't subscribe via mobile. Like, that's crazy. It's a $2, basically a $2 charge, tax for using a mobile sub. I want to say that there's a link that people can use if you're on mobile that takes them to like the desktop checkout on Twitch. And that's the best way to use that. I think that's what a lot of people have used for a long time before you could even sub through mobile. Because for a long time you couldn't there on Twitch. But yeah, kind of you know, I don't necessarily fault Twitch for that, but at the same time, the timing is just terrible.
The link for that, by the way, if you ever want it, is twitch.tv/subs/ the person's username.
Awesome.
And it has the little checkout.
Good.
It's easy on mobile.
Fantastic. These price changes will be going into effect in October. I guess October 1st is when all that starts. So it won't apply any, I guess, during September. But yeah, tier 1 $7.99, and it was originally $5.99. And the cost of tier 2 and tier 3 subs will remain the same. They're not changing those at all, but just those tier 1 subs. So yeah,
SUBtember is kind of like the Dollar Tree. It keeps getting worse. Everything used to be $1. Now they're separating the mops from the heads. Everything's like they have a $5 section, and it's just getting worse.
I think this year is better than last year, though. Wasn't last year only like a free gifted sub for a week? Like it was a much shorter period, I want to say.
Yeah.
All these weird caveats and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really funny.
I'm with Dan. Yeah.
On the actual Twitch official page, there's 4 asterisks, which are actually longer than the body of the article itself because of all of the like conditions that apply to everything.
Not on Wednesdays, only on Fridays after 4, between 4 and 6.
Yeah, it's really silly. It's really silly. However, that's not the silliest thing Twitch has done this past week, because you might even be able to do it on some of our channels right now, pushing the guest star, where it's not called that anymore, right? It's the Stream Together platform, project, property, whatever you want to call it.
Was I supposed to knock before I came in?
No.
No, I think that's proper etiquette now. I think is you always, if you're in a stream that you can knock on, you knock on it.
Jesus,
yeah. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
I could. It's crazy. So there's a
At
new
least I can
system.
disable it, right? Oh no, I cannot.
Yeah, there's a new system called knocking, and so any streamer can go to any other streamers unless they've kind of set the conditions up, and they can knock on their channel. And essentially, what that does is allows them to kind of connect through this Stream Together platform, which we actually utilized for a show. I think that might have been Summer Game Fest where we utilized it. And you can it's supposed to be a way to collab is ultimately what Twitch is pushing for here, is an easier way to collab with other folks, which is all, that's fine. That's cool and all, but you can't disable it. There's no way to disable the knock system. The way that you disable it is set it to favorites only, and then have 0 favorites. And that's how you don't get bothered by this. If you don't do that, you can essentially just be harassed and abused by whoever wants to knock, which is I don't know why they didn't think about that. Like it's just like not a great system, and they didn't even promote that ability to set it to favorites and then not favorite anyone. That was like a community driven thing on Twitter that I saw of like, hey, how do we disable this type crap? It wasn't Twitch pushing that message. It was like other content creators saying like, hey, here's how you not utilize this crap.
I want to make an account called Walter White, and I'll go to every channel and I'll knock and I'll be like, I am the one who knocks.
Someone's probably already done that.
I think yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the way it pops up is in your Twitch activity feed, and so unless you're looking at that, you won't really see it. But the other day I went over, I was live and Jesse Cox was doing something. And so I just spam knocked them for like 20 minutes.
No possible way this is accurate.
What's that?
Worst part, if you don't deactivate the option, it automatically will start your webcam.
As in your webcam or my webcam?
So wait, hold on. I need to understand this properly. Are you telling me that if somebody is sitting in their room with their webcam off, I can knock on their stream and their webcam will turn on because I knocked on their...
Former Twitch employee Ron is saying fake news in my chat.
Okay, well that's weird. Chat's saying yes, but I will go with the Twitch employee.
Yeah, well, yes. Former Twitch employee.
Former Twitch employee. Clearly, there's a lot of confusion here. Yeah, people are saying that's what they've heard, but let's wait until we hear from that's weird. There's a lot of confusion here.
Yeah, that's bad information.
Oh, chat is saying
Twitter.
You have to answer the call, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's not a good.
Apparently
situation.
This was all a bunch of VTubers were talking about this. Okay.
Got it. It's all a mess.
It's all a mess.
Like,
all a mess.
I've seen only conversation about how do I not use this. I haven't seen a single person say, man, this is like a really cool thing to utilize. Apart from Dan Clancy, who I think has done a couple of interviews about this whole thing. And he really loves pushing the whole streaming together thing. For some reason, I don't know why.
I remember being on an episode of Drop Frames 2 years ago talking about this feature that they announced.
When it was guest star, probably.
Guest star. Yeah, guest star. And here we are 2 years later, they're still pushing it, and I don't know anyone that uses it or wants to use it instead of something else has more options and stuff.
I think one of the funniest parts of this whole thing is how we've been like begging for some systems and features for so many years, and like they've picked this one thing that no one asked for to like hyper focus on and develop, and it's just like,
yeah.
Oh, it just hurts a little bit, man. It hurts a little bit.
Yeah, that obviously coupled with the Twitch app stuff, which we spent a lot of time at discussing. Like I don't know what the fuck they're doing with all of the price hikes and everything. Like it's really easy to have a pessimistic view towards the platform right now. So it's
very easy to be confused and bewildered by the decision making.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to be very confused by how it's like this.
Yeah. Ron is also saying that merged chat is coming soon. That's also a part of Stream Together, which I'm kind of interested to see how they handle.
I'm interested to see how that's going to work.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that could be.
That is the one cool part that I thought could be cool if it's done well.
Yeah.
If they do that properly, that's the kind of thing that would make us go, oh, maybe we should try that for Drop Frames. Like that's an actual like,
yeah,
that's something we've been asking for 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a massive headache.
Before anyone freaks out in chat, we're talking about the optional choice of joining a group chat room. We are not telling everyone that there needs to be like everyone's chat needs to be jammed together. We're saying there should be a new chat room that everyone can jump into if they want to, of everyone combined. Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, and we don't know how they're going to handle it.
No, you don't know what it looks like or how it's going to work.
It might be an all or nothing scenario where what Co just described is not the solution. It's everyone's in one channel now, which would be
like you turn it on or off, which would be nearly unusable.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
In our case, I could definitely think of other channels that would utilize that.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Good point to add.
But we will see. We will see what happens with all that stuff. The other thing that I saw, it's funny that I get all this information from Zach and not from like Twitch proper. I don't know if he's like the leaking channel, the back channel that Twitch uses to push all of this stuff, or if he just catches wind of it. I don't know how all that works, but he tweeted out, Twitch will soon allow viewers to post your clips, your being me, the streamer, on their TikTok or YouTube channel if you allow it. Which I think is like, how do you guys feel about that? I don't not like it.
I think they're trying to foster the next pirate software.
Yeah.
They that is a direct response to his
or a Jinxie
mechanism
or a
of getting
Queso
big.
or
exactly. It's a response to those streamers that have blown up because of TikTok and other social media platforms. They want to make it so streamers can go, oh, maybe there's a chance I can blow up too. All right, all you guys, go out and spread me forth on the internet. Turn on.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. I will most likely turn it on because if it works, it's only a net benefit in the grand scheme of things for a streamer. There's multiple people at like the top of the streaming world, Asmongold, Hassan Abi, that have like third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth party channels that honestly make a living from clipping their own content. But it's why they're fucking everywhere on the entire algorithm. It's because there's so many channels.
Entire popular TikToks where basically they explain, oh, you want to make $5,000 a month? Let me show you how. Go pick your favorite popular streamer. Click here to make a clip. Post that on your channel. Like it's an industry at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So that there was no timeline attached to that, I don't think. But it'll eventually pop up in our dashboards here on Twitch. So that's kind of it for the Twitch news. Now we can get to the gaming news. Where to even begin?
So much.
There is so much. Yeah. I guess we can kind of start with the GamesCom coverage. We watched that the main GamesCom stuff. Me, Co, and Zeke did. I'm sure Dan, you watched it as well. And then there was like 2 or 3 other events, the Future Game Show, and what was the other one?
The Concord release was an event.
That's true. Yeah.
Or I guess maybe the opposite of one if you want to get into it.
Yeah. Concord is out. That's it's sad. I don't know if it's sad. I think it's a great representation of like what a lot of the community / industries focused on is like the failure of it.
I would say Concord is overall sad.
Yeah.
And I would say the main reason is because like it's a combination of sadness. It's the combination of the overt appearance of a company being so out of touch with what they're making that they don't even know what they're doing. And that's Sony like picking it. There's the sadness of knowing that like a bunch of devs worked really hard to make a game that actually plays pretty decently, but is mired with other reasons which are not good.
Yeah.
It's sad because it has an actual fantastic monetization scheme. It's really cool and I'd love in almost every other situation.
Really?
Except this one. Oh yeah. Buy to play over free to play?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I love buy to play over free to play. And I wish there was a giant, really well-made hero shooter that was buy to play that made people actually consider it. But the problem is they put a buy to play thing on a game that's average at best. And it's even good, but the problem is that in hero shooters, good doesn't do anything. In fact, great barely does anything. It needs to be amazing in the hero shooter genre to go anywhere these days.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is so far from that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Concord is an example of when corporate people want a specific game made because they saw another game and they don't let the devs have a lot of freedom for it. They want a very specific product. I think Suicide Squad was another one of those where someone in corporate wanted this specific type of game, but the people who made it, you could tell their heart wasn't in it. They did the best they could within their limitations, but it's just a game that no one wanted. And this is another example of that, where just no one wanted this game because it's too similar to every other game, and there's so many other better versions and free versions of this game.
versions.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like, why
that's the
pay for
big
this
thing.
when I could play a free version of this? It doesn't make any sense.
On top of that, going back to like the quality, like I think you're right. They wanted a specific type of game. I mean, one of the first things I said on my first sponsored stream is, "Oh, this is like Protectors of the Universe."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's basically like they pointed at Guardians of the Galaxy and said, "Give us all those characters, but in slightly different ways," and then just pepper in other, like, you know, whatever popular thing you can think of at the time. And it's just like the whole picture just doesn't work at all. Like they tried to make the whole thing special, and because of that, none of it's special. Like somebody said and I read this on the internet, and they're absolutely right. They couldn't imagine seeing an Overwatch style character introduction for a single character in this game. And then they said that when they were done playing it, they couldn't remember a single name of any character except Starchild, just because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah. That's true.
And it's like that's a huge like the point of this was supposed to be memorable characters, and by trying to do that so much with each one, the whole thing's just unmemorable.
Yeah.
They all kind of feel like a knockoff version of another character from something else. So it's like, this is Star-Lord, but not. This is May from Overwatch, but not. It's kind of like no one really stood out to me as unique and original other than the vacuum cleaner.
And the character part, and that's the most confusing thing. It's like you're obviously making this based on like a Marvel thing. Like, how are you going to call a character Starchild? Like, is it supposed to be a joke? Is it supposed to be an homage?
It's
like,
regardless of how you format it, it's going to draw comparisons.
Whatever. Not only is it going to draw comparisons, but it's always going to make that second character feel like a knockoff.
Yeah.
Like Dan said, like you can't really prioritize or really fall in love with a character that is designed to be the knockoff of another character. Like, that's a little, like, I don't know. It's just it's strange, man.
It is. Yeah.
Somebody in chat says, I think the gunplay is good. The gunplay, the graphics, the music, like they're not only good, they're arguably great. Like the gameplay in this game, I played it for 4 hours. It feels like a fine shooter. Like that part of the game is solid.
Yeah, me and Code had fun playing together. Like the gameplay was nice. It was enjoyable. Just didn't have that wow factor.
Yeah, exactly. It was all like fine. It was all fine.
Yeah.
I found one character that jumped around and used daggers and stuff and could do like melee attacks, and like I was having a good time with her. It was just fine. I didn't need it to be in this game or in this setting or anything, and I still would have had fun doing it. Like it completely. Yeah. Anyway.
It was also interesting. I'm trying to find the exact tweet. Is it? Okay, it was from a Twitter account, Shark Eats Man. And he tweeted, today Firewalk Studios launched, the devs, launched Play Concord. This game has been in development for around 8 years, and I've been there for almost 5 of them. We don't get a lot of launch days in our careers, so today is special for a ton of reasons. Oblige me some good vibes today. A big reason is being invited into a position of creative trust on a new experience. Obviously, it's a group effort, and having a seat at the table with others who inspire you and push you to do your best is a tremendous privilege. That trust gave the game so much identity. It's kind of a strong last sentence. I don't know. Is there a lot of identity? I don't know. That might be the one thing I maybe disagree with there.
I think it goes to that, like, that saying that if you need when you're painting a painting, you need to step back and like take a look at it from another perspective. They're probably just too close to the project, and like you kind of get absorbed with it. You don't really like see it outside of your little bubble to like compare it to everything else that's going on. But yeah, you tell that maybe that person really liked the game, and good for them, but it's just not all of the rest of us liked it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a problem.
Also,
By the way, I should note, he is the lead character designer for the company.
I also, and not to get into it too much, but I feel that identity and being different are two different things.
Sure.
And I feel like some of what he said, I feel confuses that.
Yeah. His final, there was two follow-up tweets. One where he was thanking his colleagues for working. He tweeted them all out. And then he ended with, Concord has so much humanity and depth to it. I really hope people give it a shot. Insanely proud of the game, and we're strapped in and ready to push it for years to come. That was on August 21st, so 4 days ago, which is that's Wednesday. With the game, was early access Wednesday? Was there early access? I know you guys played it Friday. I think
the buy-in early access was Wednesday, and then
Okay.
the release, I believe, was on Friday.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel bad reading that, given the current conversation around it. But
So,
it's interesting to note.
Interesting to note, somebody in chat just said, is Deadlock also one of these or a different genre? So
Completely different game.
And funny enough, it's interesting because Deadlock on the surface looks kind of similar to this. But as me and Dan talked about extensively during our sponsored stream, games like this really need to do something different to set themselves away from like the horde of similar things. Deadlock is trying to do that. Like, I feel Deadlock is actually trying, being successful at it is a completely different discussion, but they're trying to do something different with Deadlock. So that is not the same as what's going on here.
Yeah. I mean, the Deadlock conversation is a bigger one because it's Valve, right? Like, immediately people are like, oh, Valve's got a new game. That carries a ton of extra, I say baggage, but I say baggage in the positive sense. Right?
Expectation.
Let's go with that. Yeah. Two, Ice Frog is apparently the lead dev on that. And you could see his hands all over that game with how insanely in-depth it is. I don't even know if they're calling it an alpha. I don't know what the stage is of that game. But for those that don't know, Ice Frog is the guy that basically he created Dota. He created
Dota.
the original Dota.
He's the Dota guy.
And he created Dota 2
Dota
for
bro.
Valve. They picked him up for that, however long ago that was, a decade ago. But yeah, Deadlock it's how do I describe it? A lot of people are saying, so it's a MOBA first and foremost. I'm having a hard time talking today. It is a MOBA right out of the gate. It is not a hero shooter. It's a MOBA. And two, a lot of people are like, oh, so it's kind of Smite because it's a third person FPS. It's like, I would describe it, and I mean this in the most non-disparaging way. Smite is like Fisher Price to the Lego 10,000 piece thing that is Deadlock. Like it is a night and day difference to the amount of depth and the amount of skill ceiling that exists within Deadlock already. It is a massively complex game. It's so complex that I think people will actually pick it up and look and play it for an hour and be like, oh, I'm good. I'm gonna go play some easier. I think
I'm gonna play some Stardew Valley.
I think it's gonna push people away with how complex it is.
Oh man.
I'll pull up some gameplay here while you guys discuss.
So are the heroes themselves complex, or is the way the game functions complex, or both?
Great question.
Both. I would think both. Here's how complex it is. A very simple thing. You can deny creeps.
Okay, like in League of Legends. Yep.
Like in Dota, not in League.
All the time.
You cannot deny.
In Dota.
Yeah, you're gonna piss a lot of people off.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's like Dota levels of complex is a great way to explain it. Let me pull up some footage here.
Chat is very mad.
I told you they would be. Yeah, I told you they would be.
I'm so sorry, guys.
But yeah, first and foremost, I think from people just watching me play it, they would join the stream and look at the screen and just be like, what the hell am I looking at? Because it is already, there's no UI pass, right? Like this is all the information that they want to give you is given here. There's 4 different lanes. It's a 6v6 game. There's 4 abilities per character. There's an entire shop system. They've kind of like,
Is it like League of Legends, like evolving items? And
yeah, it's a MOBA ultimately. But like they've done away with a lot of the tedium of things. So like getting back to heal and then getting back to lane is like maybe 30 or 40 seconds. Like this is me getting back to lane right here, flying at like the speed of light.
Well,
that
and
is
pushing,
cool.
and now I'm over at the other enemy's base.
Can you drop off whenever you want?
Yes, you can drop off whenever you want, and that line gets pushed back depending on where your creeps are pushed on the map. So if you look on the far right side of the map in the bottom right, the enemy team has their creep line all the way up to our base.
Are those health bars?
Yeah.
Those are terrible.
Wow.
What? They're like
Crazy.
2 levels and boxes and
Yeah. So my health bar is the HP that says 1500 there to the left. At the top, the numbers below everyone's name is basically their value that they have put into their character. So you can see it's basically like their power is how you would judge that. The number at the center is the combined power of the team. There at the top center. I'm blocking essentially the runes.
is power essentially gear score?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
But you can also go over and hover over every single one of those names at the top, and it'll give you a detailed breakdown of all of their items, their DPS, their HP, like all of that stuff. It's basically like gold value invested into the character that you've gained thus far. But you know, watching 30 seconds of this and then watching Concord, it's like it's 9 day difference.
This has that like that factor that goes, wow, like I'm intrigued because it's so different than any other MOBA I've seen. This like looks very cool.
Yeah.
And you're playing it like, was it good enough that you felt like you would want to learn the difficulty? Like if you'd want to stick with it or
Day 1, I was a little bit like, I don't know about this. And then day 2, yes, I started to like pick things up and like try to understand all of the different aspects of it. And I wouldn't like, I woke up wanting to play it today is where I'm at. So I don't know if that's
cool.
like addiction, but it's,
does your character have any cool combos with their abilities that you could do?
Yes and no. That character that I was just playing has like it basically has like an immobilization trap on their 3, and then their 1 is a charge arrow. And the way, so it has in-game builds. So in-game builds created by the community. So you basically open up the shop, just like in Dota, you open up the shop, go to builds, and then there's a list of community builds, and the top one has X amount of people that have used it. You click on that, it has their entire build. It tells you what items to build, what items to take, when to take them, what skills to take, all that different type of stuff. And it builds the character in a certain way so that that one ability is going to be better than all the other ones. But you can build a character a completely different way.
Nice.
So it yes and no, Dan. I think at like the tippy top skill ceiling, it's 9 day difference. Like I'm walking around and you could put like what's that TikTok thing where it's got like the shitty music playing and then it goes to like the level 100 version thing. And it's like the badass music playing. Very much like that. It's very like there's the browse build system on the screen, and you can kind of see how complicated that is. Super in-depth item system, just like Dota. I don't know how many characters there are out of the gate, but there's a lot. More than 15, I would think. 21 characters at the moment, which is a lot.
They all feel very different.
Yeah,
It looks cool.
yeah. Every character I've played has been an absolute blast, and wide range of abilities. Like this character is basically, he has a hook. He's got his ultimate basically does like the Iron Man chest beam. So he just gets a giant fucking laser. And his combo is basically, in terms of the skills, it's 3, 2, 1. So you hook, You put a bomb on them, and then you punch them away. The bomb explodes, and then you just kill them with however little HP they have left. And so the build that I'm playing in this game specializes his bomb ability to just do a massive amount of damage, and it worked very, very well. But you can also do a build where it just utilizes his ultimate. And so you're just walking around pressing his ult and just like destroying objectives in record amounts of time by dumping as much damage as possible. So
quick question, JP, for those asking in chat, is there a way for people to play this now?
So that's the other thing, is that it's closed. It's invite only. There are no keys. The best way to get in is to message someone that's in, and they can basically spam invites to their friend list. That's kind of how it works.
Okay.
I don't know the frequency that they're letting people in. I got access through someone about 4 months ago, and I didn't really play much of it because I wanted to play it on stream. There's the subreddit for Deadlock, I think, has like a thread to go and beg for access, and it actually works.
Okay.
A lot of people are getting in. Yeah, someone said that I just went to the subreddit and asked, and I got in within an hour. So
that's cool.
Perfect.
yeah,
Cool.
it seems like it's if you want to get in, it's reddit.com/r/deadlock_the-game. If you want to try to get in, you can. And I want to say like yesterday they had 50,000 people playing on Steam.
Somebody said 70,000 a little bit ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
think
sense.
that's
on
slightly
release
more
day.
than
On release day.
Concord.
Yeah,
Concord, I
just
think,
a little bit more.
100, I think.
Concord, the big comparison that everyone's put on social media is that Golem had more on launch day than Golem than Concord did.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate, but yeah.
Wow.
But it's cool. It's also probably every bit of a year, if not 2 years away from actually coming out proper.
Yeah.
And at this level of complexity and like it runs well, it seems
The world
like
kind
it's
of
gonna
gives
do
me
well.
BioShock Infinite vibes, which I like.
It's kind of like
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got like I want to say the theme is like
very
alt
steampunky.
It's like alt history New York. It's kind of steampunky and magics. There's like a witch character. I'm playing like a steampunk robot.
There's no IP connection to this with anything, right? Is
No.
it all brand new IP?
Yeah, it's all brand new. 1920s apparently is the year that this takes place in.
1920s. All right.
Yeah, and everyone's kind of got that that tone to them when it comes to characters and whatnot. I've only played, like I said, for 2 days. I don't know what my game time is. 8.5 hours. But even then, I've grown attached to like the characters that I've played. So it's got like good characterization for that.
Cool.
But at the end of the day, it's a MOBA. And so that's going to turn a lot of people off pretty quickly. And kind of set it's already going to have a gate going against it, but Dota has a shit ton of players and has been one of the top 10 games on Steam for its entire existence.
Forever.
So,
Forever.
if that can find an audience, I'm pretty sure this will probably find an audience if it hasn't already. It's hitting this sweet spot where you have the entirety of like the Overwatch community looking for something. And while I don't think that this is like, it's nowhere near a one-to-one comparison with Overwatch, it's enough to get them like interested in it to be able to check it out because there's nothing else out until Marvel Rivals comes out in December. And that honestly could be a flash in the pan. That could be like a 1 month game and then it drops off. We don't really know how that's going to go. It did have pretty strong numbers though, in terms of interest and all that stuff during its betas. So we'll see what happens with that. And they also announced that all characters are free. That was a big push at Gamescom, is that all characters are free and at launch. So you don't have to like buy a character, which a lot of people thought because it's NetEase, they were going to nickel and dime you of like, hey, every character's $5 or whatever. So that was some good news to come out of Gamescom. But yeah, Deadlock's a thing. And the reason that we're all talking about it now is because Valve, it wasn't even like an official thing. It came from a tweet
Yeah.
from a dev that was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just let people talk about it. Also, the store page is live now." And it was like
love how
Friday
the-
at like 4:15, and I'm just
They're so freaking casual about it. It's like
Valve has that power to just casually click a button and then it explodes across the internet just instantly, because when they release something, you know it's going to be big, it's huge, and it just has a cult following because they've built so much trust over the years with Steam.
it's
and people
wild.
follow them.
Yeah, it was the type of thing where I was live and someone joined my chat and said like, "Hey, you can stream Deadlock now," and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean? He sent me the like tweet, which was a screenshot of like a Discord message showing you could stream it. And then 5 minutes later, I was playing Deadlock on stream. It didn't even have a category on Twitch. There was not. Barry had to work with Valve to get the category created so that people could stream to it on Twitch. That's
All you
where it
have
was
to
at.
do is block Artifact out of your mind, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah,
That's what I do with Artifact.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, it's fun. Most of the like big FPS streamers on Twitch have already picked it up, and they've been playing it now for 2 days in a row. You never know if that's like because it's the latest and greatest thing to stream, or if it's because there's some actual like lasting power to it. I saw Siegel from the Overwatch community was playing today and was like going really in depth with all of it, and was like trying to understand how all of it worked. So seems like there's going to be some staying power to it. The other thing to consider is if you do get in, there's people that have already put 1,000 hours into this game and will absolutely destroy you.
Oh my.
So just be aware of that. Because there's only so many people in the game, and every once in a while the matchmaking could throw you against one of those people.
That's me in every game though. They always kick my butt.
Yeah, you'll have a rough go every couple of matches. So be aware of that. But it's also just like any other MOBA. You're gonna run
be
into
expected.
Smurfs.
That's right. To be
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah, I was watching Shroud play last night, and I guess he was playing with two people that have like 1,000+ hours, and they were on new accounts, so their MMR wasn't screwing the queue time over. So I guess it's already at that stage where people are on second accounts to play with other people. Which like
That's always fun.
That's always good.
That's
Go
like
bully some
shit.
noobs.
That's like there's already smurfing, and the game's been public by like 48 hours. So yeah. Anyways, that's Deadlock, a random surprise launch that literally came out of nowhere. It also, did we cover the news where they banned that the whole like, was that Verge that wrote all that stuff and then the journalist got banned for covering it?
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about that, but it's so, looking back on that whole situation, it's just silly that all of that transpired and then Valve put this shit out like almost a week later. So I don't know if that guy's still banned or what the
Well, I mean,
process is.
even if everything happened as it is, that article was still a dick move.
Yeah, because it broke an
like,
NDA, right?
N-
Is that the conversation?
Really? So, well, the conversation is the fact. Here's the deal. Valve does whatever Valve wants, and whenever someone says Valve, the world doesn't work like that. They just go, yeah.
Okay.
And see, the problem is that's kind of what they did with this. So normally, when a company does something they don't want people to talk about, they actually give them documents, NDAs, and people sign it and do all that kind of stuff. Valve, you did that too, right? No, we just told them we don't want them to talk about it. But Valve, you can't do that. Yeah. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. They said, no, screw all the legal stuff. We're just going to say, please don't talk. We're going to friend DA it because we're so friendly here at Steam. We're going to friend DA it because we're buddies, right, Valve? So we're just going to friend DA it. So basically, they had that message saying, please do not share this. And the Verge guy posted that message at the top of his article and said, yeah, this is the message they showed me, which is not an NDA, so I'm going to go ahead and share it.
Is that the thing where he said, instead of clicking OK, I hit escape?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I
Which
saw
he
that.
acted like that's some kind of legal out.
Yeah,
Dude, it was a message that
Uh-huh.
said, please don't talk about it. Like, what are you doing? Like, really? Like,
It seems like the kid on the playground that's like neener, neener, neener.
exactly. That's exactly what it's like. So the short of it is that there was no legal reason that article shouldn't have existed. There's nothing, but the dude was like, he just complete dick move. Like, he literally, like, exactly, neener, haha, gotcha, Valve.
Yeah.
Valve was like, no, F you, banned. Like, yeah, who got?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that? Who
Yeah.
got? Like, that's basically what they did. This, yeah.
Mhm.
So did he deserve it? Absolutely. He poked the bear and the bear bit him. Like, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And he did it for clicks. He did that specifically to get
Sure.
the first article out so people would talk about it. So he got exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
He got a lot of clicks and attention, and they banned his account. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, man. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they banned
Got it.
his Steam account, right? That's
They vac banned his account. I don't know if they excuse me. I don't know if they vac banned his Steam account. The message he showed was him trying to play with another one of his friends, and it said he could not play the game because he was banned. But the message was from
Got it.
in the game. It wasn't like from him trying to log into Steam. I don't know if they banned his whole account.
Okay, yeah. Chat's saying
he
they
was just-
banned access to the game. He's banned from matchmaking. Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't lose his Steam account. His Steam account's probably a press account anyway.
And I
to be honest.
I think vac ban is when you lose the account. So he did
I think
not
so.
get vac banned.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you got to be careful in this industry. Like, if you burn a bridge, like, sure, you might get your clicks this time, or your video on YouTube might get some clicks, but you're never gonna work with that company again. Like, you're gonna
Totally.
ruin your reputation for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stupid and brazen, and like, he
Oh,
poked the bull and got hit with the horns.
That's true.
so okay, I'm sorry. Vac is just Valve anti-cheat. I thought if they hit you with Valve anti-cheat, they banned your account. But people in chat are saying that vac bans are now game specific.
That makes sense.
So
I think that
Yeah.
originated from like Counter-Strike. When you got
I remember
vac
back in
banned,
the
yeah.
day, if you got vac banned, that was it. Like,
Yeah.
That's why people were so scared of it, because you'd lose all your other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like it's just Valve matchmaking stuff for that particular game.
Good to know.
I'm not going to show it. I'm curious if the two of you have watched it. They were very quick to say that there are no spoilers in the entire video. However, reading the comments, there is a spoiler in the video, so I don't want to show it. But there was some high-level Dragon Age combat that was shown. And as someone who was not super interested in Dragon Age before seeing that video, I'm very interested in Dragon Age after seeing that video. That looks fun as hell. The combat, like, it sold me fully on the combat and how it all is going to go down. It is
I have not seen this video.
It's really, really good to see. I could show it and put spoiler tags up if you guys want, just so you could take a look. The spoilers would be in the text itself, so just don't read the quest text is all I will say.
All I want to see is the parts that made you say what you just said.
Okay, yeah, let me pull
Yeah,
it up. Let me pull it
Yeah,
up.
let's see the combat. It sounds like they're going back and trying to take the combat from 2, which is very action focused, and make it actually work this time.
Yeah.
So if they do that, I'm all for like trying out different combat systems, as long as the story and characters are still good.
So
is
I'll
the
put up
most important.
I'll put up spoiler tags. They start the video going into how the itemization works, and this alone was like wild to me because those are all different like runes that completely alter how your character is manipulating different things. They basically built a fire build. So anytime that you like parry or guard, it basically turns your sword to be like a fire sword, and your entire team is built around that. That's the skill tree, which I was
Oh, wow.
automatically like super into because it's, you know, Path of Exile-esque. I think they had shown some of that, but they hadn't really gone into how it all works. It looks very, very in depth.
That is
though.
sexy. If I don't mind my saying, that is sexy.
Yeah. So it's got, you know, I think he's playing a tank character. Their, I guess, Rook is a tank in this game. Let me fast forward to some of the combat here. Don't read the quest text at all. This is like, they go through and show you everything, but this is how it's going to go down. You can pause and pause is a weird term. You can stop the action from happening and like plan out how everything's going to go down. That's from your abilities plus your other two parties' abilities. They gave the tank the scorpion thing right out of the gate. That's a freeze ability from your hero, and like the combat is just, I don't know what I would liken the combat to. It just looks fun to play. Like for me, I was immediately sold on the combat. I'm not necessarily one to play it for the story. I didn't finish Inquisition, and if I did, it was that 10 years ago? I feel like that was forever ago when that came out.
Did you like the combat in Inquisition?
I don't think I got to experience the combat in Inquisition because it ran so bad when I played it. Like when the game first launched, it was poorly optimized. And that was my takeaway. Yeah, that was my takeaway from Inquisition. I did see one comment that sounded like he was from like a Dragon Age faithful, and it is well constructed, that he wasn't super into this because all the characters are like a Herlock in this game is super generic, whereas like the Dragon Age lore from a Herlock is very much that they're like a mutated dwarf or something like that. And this kind of forgot about that in a way from a design perspective. And, you know, I can't disagree with him. He used a great term. It was the Flanderization.
Flanders? Like Heidi Ho Neighbor?
Yeah, Flanderization. That's a trope, apparently, and it's now entered into my vocabulary because I fucking love it. And I respected his comment because of that. But yeah, that video, it's about a 10-minute video in full, and they kind of go through all the different stages to show that last kind of full combat clip. But yeah, that sold me on the game more so than everything else. Their trailer also, that was that at Gamescom proper, or was that just released? I think it might have just been released on its own. Far and away, shit's all over that first trailer. I don't know why they put that first trailer out. In comparison, 9-day difference, that second trailer is like so much more interesting and not like, I guess the like quippiness that they were going for in that first one, the like Marvel-ish humor and all that stuff. That just,
you're talking about the very first one,
the
right?
very first one,
the Borderlands trailer.
Yeah, Borderlands trailer. That's a good way to put it. That just had like, so many people upset. The newest trailer.
They didn't even know what game they were making at that point.
Yeah. Or well, I think they knew what game they were making. They just presented it in a terrible way.
They didn't know the theme of. They didn't know the soul of the game they were making at that point. I feel because you can tell that was definitely something angled towards more of a you and your buddies. You want to be the hero. It was a live service game trailer. It was designed for like, you could tell the entire perspective of that was totally different than a Dragon Age game.
Yeah.
So like it was, very off-putting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in the camp that, sure, just like Co, I'm sure I would love a turn-based Dragon Age game where, like, you know, the combat of one but made a whole lot better and more balanced, or even Inquisition but balanced. But, you know, I like an action RPG. That's like, if they can make the combat fun and good, like I'm down for it. I think the most important thing in Dragon Age, though, that makes it Dragon Age is the characters, interacting with those characters, and then also having a very good story. If they can nail those two bits, even with the action combat, I think they'll still make it feel like Dragon Age. I'm just cautiously optimistic about it right now. I just hope that they bring back the AI system from the previous games, where like, so I don't have to pause quite so much in combat. Like I can tell my companions, when I use this ability, please use your ability on it, so on the character I do it on. That way I can like automate some little bit of stuff if they're going for that action pacing, so I don't have to quite pause so much. Yeah, but I like it. I think it looks fun.
Someone in my chat says the first trailer, which was the one that Co was talking about, was from a marketing company. The release date one, which we just saw, was done by the devs. That's kind of interesting. That if that's true, I asked for a source on that just to make sure that it is factual. But it explains a lot if that were the case.
If that's the case, it absolutely explains a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I was a little surprised. Was that always scheduled to release this year? And I just forgot that was supposed to release this year?
No, it's been all over the place for release dates. So I think I think we're all a little surprised it's releasing this year, but we've known for a bit.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
Halloween of all days.
Halloween
just
of all days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which funny enough that watching that, like the high level gameplay video, it shot up my interest in it. I'm trying to decide if I want to be the person that goes into it without the Dragon Age Inquisition story tie-in and let the game do the lifting to like bring me up to speed on that, or if I want to play through it myself. I don't know like how I want to handle that. Because it's a direct sequel.
It is you're definitely going to want to, like, if you want to do it properly, I would say you would need to play DAI. Most importantly, the DAI DLC.
It's the DLC,
which has one of the biggest reveals of the entire franchise, to put it bluntly, including DAO. So it's like, you really want to have played DAI and the DLC before the new one.
Got it. I wonder how they'll handle that on their own.
There is if you're gonna play Inquisition again, the first zone is a big open world, and it's a common trap that players get stuck there forever, grinding all the quests that are they can be a little MMO-y, a little grindy. So I would recommend following the main quests and going back there occasionally, because you can get stuck in there and it can get kind of boring and overwhelming. It makes a lot of people quit. If you just keep following the main storyline, it has a good pacing to it.
Got it.
That is not only a great tip, and funny enough, what I was going to say kind of plays into that. DAI is not arguably the best Dragon Age in terms of like being full of fulfilling content.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a lot of time, and most importantly, you're not okay with like a relatively good amount of busy work, I should have said more succinctly, you need to know all the events and characters in those two games before the expansion. At least watch like a big catch-up video. I don't have any I can recommend, but yeah, you'll want to know at least all of that. Not necessarily play the game at DLC, but you want to know all of it before the new game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. It's just another game. It's added on. 2024 is kind of starting to crush it in terms of all the.
Just squeeze a 100-hour RPG in there, JP. You can do it.
Yeah,
Put it in there.
There's a lot of stuff being added to the list that's just kind of starting to stack up now. Moving forward, a game that got pushed to February. Avowed had a bunch of previews come out.
And not so great PR, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the previews were pretty positive. The PR around it, we're all talking about the fact that it's 30 FPS on consoles. Is it consoles or is it everything? Like the PC version will push much higher than that, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Typically said the X and the S will be 30 FPS.
Okay. That's probably for console parity on the S. That's probably the S bringing that down, right? Which is...
I would assume.
Yeah. That's becoming a bigger pain in the ass for Microsoft, I think, than they're wanting it to be, because pretty sure that's why Wukong's not on Xbox yet, is because they didn't want to... They can't. Like, hardware limitations are basically stopping it from being on that platform.
Interesting.
But yeah, Avowed being 30 FPS on console, a lot of people are I would say, like, rightfully poo-pooing that.
Well, and I think the biggest one of the biggest issues with that entire thing is that one of the devs, in giving their reasoning for the fact that it's not that, made this comment where it's like, oh, it's a single player game, it doesn't need to be 60 FPS. Ooh. And it was like, that is arguably one of the worst possible things you could have said.
Yeah.
Because not only is that wildly wrong, but then it shows exactly what the perspective of their company is when they're prioritizing their frame rate. And it's like, that is just, oh my God, man. Like the part that sucks, and I said this again, and I'll say it now, there are people in the gaming industry that love making games, but may not love playing games. And I feel that somebody that doesn't play games said that comment. And that's what's unfortunate. I don't know how else to say it. Like
a first-person perspective game, and 60 FPS really matters in first person, because in third person you can 30 FPS is a little more tolerable, but first person, when you're turning at 30 FPS, it's so stuttery, and it's going to be a mess.
It's even more apparent in first person over third person, and they made the choice to make this first person. So it's just like how lots of things are very not good about that comment that he made.
Yeah.
It's lots of things,
Uh,
unfortunately.
my chat was saying that was the art director who
Yeah.
apparently said that for Avowed. So, yeah. Only matters, I guess, if you're going to play console. We're all PC nerds here, so hopefully the optimization is up to snuff to where we're not struggling to hit 60. It looks like the NVIDIA marketing is tied into it here with this like RTX video. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's promising enough that they, will push the frames above 100 through things like DLSS and all that.
Frame
Yeah.
generation will hopefully make it run great on PC.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll hope that for that at least.
Yeah. They put out another video kind of going through some stuff, combat and whatnot. I don't know if you guys saw any of that, but I don't know. How you guys feeling about Avowed now? I'm like,
It gives me like Elder Scrolls vibes, where Elder Scrolls doesn't have great combat, never has. Like even Morrowind's combat, which people say is the best, is still not that great. But it's not about the combat in these games. It's more about the exploration, the role playing, the living in a world that you feel like you're a part of that world when you're in it. So if they can at least get that part of the game well, where you care about the world, the characters, you feel like this is your character and you're going through a journey, then they'll be fine. But if they can't get that part, which is the most essential part of Elder Scrolls, down, like this combat is fine. It just doesn't. It's not wowing me in any way.
yeah,
It makes me like I'm very whelmed when I see it instead of like super excited to play it.
sure. Yeah. I think that's kind of the general conversation I've seen around the game. That's not great. Whereas the book's clipping through the gate, but whatever. Nitpicking, I guess.
Yeah.
The combat does look. A lot of people when we were watching it were just like, "Man, is this Skyrim? Like, what are we seeing here?" And I did pull a lot of that from it. So
You could feel the Elder Scrolls influence on this. Like it just feels like Elder Scrolls.
yeah, which not a bad thing to pull from,
Mm-hmm.
as long as there's like enough of a hook to be interesting and unique enough, and not just feel like a Skyrim
With as
add-on.
popular as Elder Scrolls has been, there's only been a handful of games that really tried to capture that. One being a game called Two Worlds. But not too many people have really tried. So this is like a company giving it a whirl. And I'm hoping that it's going to play a lot better than it looks. And once we're in there, all my worries will go away.
Yeah.
I had two big games like this right now, Avowed and another game called Tainted Grail, which is under production. And I have to say, not only do I echo everything that Dan said, but the later stuff especially has made me feel a lot better about this game. I'm definitely with Dan, where I'm like, the main reason I'm playing this is the characters and the world, and I love Obsidian storytelling. And the last time they told any story in the Pillars of Eternity universe was the PoE 2 DLC, and it was actually phenomenal writing.
That was Deadfire?
I liked the PoE 2 DLC better than I did the base game. So it was, and then on top of that, funny enough, the type of game this is, a third person, the last big thing they did for that was the Outer Worlds DLC, which also was much better than the base game in terms of the story and delivery. So my hope is that they're in a place where they've kind of gained their stride with Outer Worlds, which was a very safe game. So I'm hoping in this game they kind of hopefully show us a bit more how they can make a unique Obsidian fingerprinted experience in this type of kind of immersive sim genre. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it now. Like the later stuff has looked okay, and like Dan said, I'm mostly using what you're watching now as a way to get to all the cool mechanics in the large world and the fun areas to explore and stuff. So hopes are high, but I don't think this will be like a top seller. I don't think this will be like wildly popular. I think this is going to be like the PoE games. I think it's going to be a game for fans that really like this stuff. And I think the people that really like this stuff will probably really love this game, but I don't think it's going to go very mainstream.
Yeah. I think it might have been on this show, but it feels like almost a 1-to-1 for what you want for a Game Pass game. Like it is a perfect Game Pass title, I feel. Because if you have Game Pass, it's no investment in terms of like monetary, I guess, because it's already paid for via the subscription. And if you can jump into this for quote unquote free via the subscription, like, seems pretty good. I did have a lot of people when we were watching the footage of it that had a great point, and you guys kind of touched on it, with the idea of like, if you're not savvy on the world of Pillars of Eternity, you're going to be pretty far behind in knowing what's happening in this game.
Possibly, it's supposed to take place in a different enough, I think, area to where they're trying to avoid that. But I mean, we'll have to see if they actually pull that off. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to, but
yeah. Chad's saying this game's a prequel, so
yeah.
I still think that, you know, maybe not.
Did they confirm it's a prequel? No, I think it takes place after the events of Deadfire. But I think it's far enough away to where it's like its own thing. But no,
Okay.
they actually, I remember they specifically talk about the fact that your character, I think, is a godlike, which is a certain type of character in the world.
Yeah.
That does not, that they don't know who the patron god is.
Okay. That was one guy.
And what was?
No, I got one guy, not you.
No,
Me
yeah.
saying that. Yeah.
So I think it's like it's in a different place, but it's years after the last one. So it is a sequel, but it is not a direct sequel.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
I think them calling it Avowed instead of Pillars of Eternity is like a hint that it's not going to require you to have played the other games. Like they'll probably go over. But
I agree.
If you have played it, they will like probably have nice Easter eggs or references that you'll get that other players may not. So it's probably worth playing Pillars of Eternity if you haven't, just to like pick up on some things that most of the people that haven't played it won't recognize when they go through it.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I played Pillars of Eternity 2 at launch and actually finished it. It was a little bit bugged, and my characters were maybe a little bit more overpowered than they would be if I were to play the patched version. But I still had a great time. So that world is very interesting, and I am a little bit interested in this game because of that. So it's got some stuff to play, or there is some stuff to play if you want to, and you're looking forward to this game. But
one thing I just noticed that they have that Elder Scrolls is not is you can jump onto a ledge and grab up.
well, they got the clambers.
It's great. Yes.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
That's
it.
great.
Yeah, you can definitely see in this this video that the 30 FPS is very visible. This is probably some sort of Xbox capture. This is the GamesCom footage that I think is this game. I think this is GameSpot's video that they did, or at least that's where we're watching this from. This might have been an Obsidian published video that they pushed around to all those different things. But I'm also interested in this game because the itemization. They've got like they sucked me in with the like unique items that do special things, and that was, you know, the dopamine
They have been
tick.
really, really good at that in Pillars of Eternity. There are some super cool, very fun itemization gimmicks in that game. So I'm hoping we see that continue into this one.
Yeah.
Honestly, my biggest concern is that it's going to be very shallow, like Outer Worlds. And I'm hoping they're going to go more of a, like, it's okay, you can really customize your character. It's fine if you're a little strong, you know, like not this kind of, Outer Worlds was very bland in terms of like its leveling up and stuff. So I'm hoping they put a pin in that for this one.
Yeah. Where do we go from here? Dan, I think you would probably be the most Civ fanned person here. Civ.
Yes,
Let's go Civ pilled person here. How did that Civ 7 announcement hit you?
I didn't get to watch the gameplay trailer yet, but
Okay.
I did watch the reveal, and graphically, I love the new direction they're going in. Like the cities look bigger, the graphics look nicer, like the cities feel cool. I'm a person, I love playing Civ. I will start hundreds of games and finish maybe 2. I'm just that way where I love starting Civ, but I never finish it because it's just so long and it gets so tedious toward the end. But this is looking good. Like it has all the things in it that makes me want to play it. I love like the graphics are still kind of a little cartoony, but a little more on the like fleshed out side. I like Civ is a game that you know what you're getting when you play it, and it's going to be a little bit different every time, but it's never failed me. Like I've loved every version, even 6, 5, 4, like they've all been fun, and they wasted thousands of hours of my life, and I can't wait
So,
to dive
Dan,
into this one.
big Beyond Earth fan, huh?
Well, not everyone is perfect. So sometimes we try things and we fail, but that's part of life. That's part of life.
Everybody gets one, right? Everybody gets one.
Yes, everyone gets one.
For the record, Civ Beyond Earth, the only sponsorship I've ever canceled mid-sponsor on Twitch.
Oh yeah, you weren't.
That's the only one ever in my 10+ years on the platform.
Jeez.
It holds the honor. Yep.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with being a mainline game, that won't be the case for Civ 7. They're doing a lot of things like at first glance, yeah, it's Civ, right? Like it's a civilization, it's the next Civ game. But they are doing a lot of things that are different in this one from other mainline Civ games. And a lot of those are from other Civilization-esque titles out there. Was it Humankind, the thing that they borrowed from for a lot of this stuff?
Yes, you're talking about like this new stage system.
Yeah,
they go through yeah. Interestingly enough, I have not used that system. But when I asked chat about it, there was a seemingly there's a lot of discussion around if Civ fans like that or not.
Yeah, because essentially it's you are able at the I think there's 3 different moments, stages of the game, evolution of the game, and at every moment you can basically choose a new Civ to go to the next age with. And so a lot of people were confused. I don't want to say upset. Worried is maybe a better term around that, because it's something new, right? Like you haven't been able to do that now at all in Civ, and it'll be different, I suppose. I guess we'll have to see how it works in actual gameplay. I don't know if you have any strong feelings towards it, Dan.
I'm willing to give it a chance. I personally like when you choose a civilization, you take that civilization all the way to the end. So if it's like Humankind, you can still stay as the same civilization the whole time. Like you don't have to switch. Sometimes you get bonuses for not switching. So if they can do that. But even a realistic kind of perspective, over time, sometimes civilizations fall and another civilization moves in and replaces it. So it's something that happens in real life. Empires fall and they're replaced by someone else. So I guess I can see how they could put that in.
Yeah.
But it's not called Civilization with an S, Dan. It's not called Civilizations.
What if they just called it that? What if they changed it?
Dude, honestly, if they did that, I mean, that would be a lot more apt, you'd think. I mean, they're making a huge change to the franchise maybe they should have done that.
Yeah.
We joke about it, but it would have made it a lot clearer.
Well, it would have made it clear given the information that you can have multiple civs in one playthrough. Otherwise, it would just be is that Civ? Yeah, it's Civ 7. Yeah, they just called it a different name.
Better yet, I mean, they're changing it so drastically. Maybe even just drop the number entirely
and just start calling it Civilization.
Just call it Civilizations.
Oh yeah, Nesta. Yeah, maybe so.
Call it Places Where People Live.
There you go. That's got some gumption to it.
That's got a ring to it. I like that.
I like it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Places
catchy.
where people live. We could call it Whipple.
Exactly. It's a
$1
million game right there.
By the way, just so, because I see some people in chat being like, Beyond Earth isn't that bad. What's wrong with all this? Okay, so TLDR. The reason that I canceled the Beyond Earth scholarship was because that's when I learned the important sponsorship. I mean, you might as well get a scholarship if you know how to play that game. But it's the kind of thing where I do sponsorships very differently these days because of Civilization Beyond Earth. And the thing that I did wrong in that game that I later learned I cannot ever do again is agree to 16 hours of sponsored streaming.
Oh God, that's a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those.
And what happened is what I learned about myself is I can have a pretty good amount of fun playing a game for a couple hours, even if I'm not super into it. But by hour 5, nope.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I'm not feeling a game, if I'm not having fun, and they're wanting to pay me to stream it, I am not that good of an actor.
Yeah,
That's just what it comes down to. So hour 5, I contacted the devs and I was like, look, I will do the rest of this stream, but you're not going to like it. Like it is not, you are like, we can amicably stop here, or I will deliver on what I promised you, but just understand, like, this is how I'm feeling about the game. This is how the stream will be. And they said, you know what? Have a great rest of your day. We'll prorate the contract. And I said, thank you.
Fantastic.
And that was, we shook hands and that was it.
Yeah.
But no, people ask me frequently these days, why do you only do sponsorships for 2 hours? That's why, because I only take sponsorships of games I either know I'm going to play or I want to try. And if I'm going to try a game and not like it, I can still have fun playing a game I don't like for a couple hours, chats into it, we can talk about it, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the second you hit that 2 hours, man, I'm not feeling it, like, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
And a lot of streamers are that way. A lot of streamers are that way. And that's one of the reasons I think a lot of streamers don't do that. Because remember, the devs, the PR companies know the more hours they lock you in, the better deal they're going to get. So they try to do that, but you know, a lot of us are just like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I've done. League is usually 4 hours when I do, or not League. Sorry, Path of Exile. Every League is when I do a longer sponsor, and then back during Shadowbringers for Final Fantasy 14, that was a 60-hour sponsorship.
6-0?
Yeah, that was.
But you knew you liked it.
Yes.
Like that's a different situation.
That was a crazy sponsor because it was 4 4-hour streams and then one 24-hour stream that was sponsored for the launch
in
of
a row.
No. So that was over the course of, I think that was over the course of 5 weeks. So it was 2 weeks prior, 2 4-hour streams, one a week, then a 24-hour stream, and then 2 more weeks after that of 2 more 4-hour streams. But
wow,
yeah, was that? It might have been Stormblood and not. I think that was Stormblood. Because that was when it was me, Aurelian, Dodger, and Strippin, and we were all sponsored for that 24-hour stream.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a while back.
I remember that. Yeah, you guys made a big event out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was sponsored though. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah. And the even crazier thing is that Sam and Dodger got married the weekend of Stormblood, so they had to do their sponsored stream 2 weeks after Stormblood launched for 24-hour stream. Like,
okay.
That was a fucking mess. That's what it was. It was just a mess.
That makes it easier when you have other streamers that you can take a little break for a little bit, and if it's just you by yourself for 24 hours, that's a lot.
It was and they had their kid at the time, so I don't think they could do the stream together because they had to watch the kid. The other parent had to watch the kid. So it was just
couldn't be easy, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was just a fucking mess. It was a mess. But anyways, Dan, any super long sponsors for you that you recall that were a lot?
Longest? I think there was like an MMO that came out and had to do like 4 3-hour streams or something, but it was like over the course of like a month, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that sounds like a New World thing, maybe.
Yeah, it was
New
one
World
of those
had
like
some sponsors, some long ones.
Yeah.
Real quick, Kadef says, do publishers know if you're interested in their game beforehand? And if so, why would they sponsor you if you're going to stream it anyway? Lots of reasons. A lot of times they may want you to promote a link. They may want you to do wish lists. A lot of times companies will directly sponsor people because they know they're going to play the game and they want to keep up good relationship with that streamer.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens too. So but a lot of times they will specifically not offer a sponsor to someone if they've specifically said they're going to play their game. That happens all the time too. It just completely depends on the company and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now that streamers note and talk about when companies do sponsorships and bring in people they know are going to play the game. It's a very big deal, and I think they know that too. So you know, it's very much noticed when companies and PR agencies are doing the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a back channel of communication, I think, among streamers of like, hey, did you see so-and-so was sponsored to do so-and-so? Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like that conversation happens all the time.
Yeah. If you know like a streamer is going to really enjoy a game, if a person's watching them play this game, they're having fun, and they have this like little link that they can click on to get it for themselves, they're more likely to click that if they see a streamer that's enjoying themselves, they're having fun, they know they're going to enjoy that game, and then like, oh, I'll click it, I'll click this little link here, and I'll go grab the game. So
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people get
Great point.
sponsored for things that they already are going to play, because they want to capture that joy and turn it into sales, which makes sense, like from a PR standpoint.
Yep. That's exactly right. All right, that was Civ 7. What else was there? Where are you guys at on the how much Monster Hunter Wilds stuff did y'all watch? Because I watched about
Most of it.
4.5 hours of their streams
Not that much.
they put out. That's what I was saying. They had their trailer at Gamescom, and then I think for every day of Gamescom they did a 2-hour stream of different hunts, and like.
Wow.
Holy shit, that game is gonna kick ass. Like, god damn, my hype has ascended to heights unknown. Like, I want that game now. I'm
One
feverish
change
for
that
it.
they announced, and like I've been so happy about, is that the camp is now right in the map world, so you don't have to like load screen between the camp, and that is like so cool.
Yep.
That is cool.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
Dude,
Very nice
it's like, man, where to even begin with all of that shit? Here's another crazy thing. You can pick up traps now. When you put a trap down, you can go pick one up.
Okay.
If you put it in the wrong
If I
spot,
waste it, I can actually pick it back
you
up.
can
That's
pick it back up. That's fucking crazy, man.
I love how you guys are talking about like the most basic of basic fun. You can pick something up, you put on the ground.
That's crazy.
Oh my god, what is going on?
That's fucking crazy, man.
What
When
kind
you're
of
a
innovation is
Monster
this?
fan,
I
You
don't
get
I
used
don't
to
care
the
who you are,
annoying
it's
little
crazy.
things that constantly drive you mad, and now when they fix those little things, you get so excited.
Yeah, if
praised
you
me for
go
so long.
if you go to the Monster Hunter YouTube account and then go to their live stream section, their stream section, there are 3 2-hour streams that they put out with a multitude of different weapon combos. You can now take 2 weapons into combat. That's one of the big things in Wilds. So you can even double up and do like 2 hammers, one that's like, raw physical damage, and another one that's like elemental based. They're doing a ton of stuff with all of that. There's swimming in the game, but there's no underwater combat in the game, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess maybe the keyword is yet. Maybe they're going to add that stuff in, but
Okay.
Monster Hunter fans remember is that Try You experience of underwater
God.
combat, and it's either it's pretty divisive, right? Like a lot of people enjoy the hunting of, was it Lagicarius, but it was pretty terribly, like it felt bad. Control scheme wise, it was not a fun underwater combat scenario. So if they refine it, we'll see. But there is at least swimming underwater that they showed off in one of their clips. This is one of the lower levels. I think there was 4 different mobs that they showed here in this environment. I don't know if it's this one, but another big change is the map is now 3D. And when they pull it up, it is really, really fascinating to look at because not only being a 3D map, they're like tilting it and they're showing all the different things, and they've got icons of everything on the map, and it looks huge. Like there's so much going on. And that was another huge change that was very, very, I think, welcomed, because like in Monster Hunter World, the amount of people that got lost in the ancient forest, which is that first area that you play, because it's so specifically in the center of it, there's so many different levels of verticality to it, but the map doesn't portray that. So you just get lost running through like tree roots and following down different caves and corridors. And now in this one with the 3D map, it's like if you remember seeing the Metroid Prime map, it's very much that, where you can spin it around, go up and down, and find all the different things. I'll see if I can find it here.
If the GPS system is still good, then I'm fine with it. But
I think it looked like it was. Where did
I
they show
love when devs get cocky. Like Capcom is cocky about this game. They are showing dozens and dozens of hours because they know it's good. They want you to see it. That gets me excited for a game when the devs want you to see it. They want you to play it. They want you to get your hands on it and look at every little detail because they know it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. They seem very confident in this. Oh yeah, there's the cat. Co, I think you'll appreciate this cat. Let me just. You like the whiskers on?
I love it. Oh, that's good. That's good. Good. I can work with that.
Yeah.
I can work with that.
The other thing they announced is that male hunters can now wear female armor, and female hunters can now wear male armor. So you can just wear whatever you want. Doesn't matter anymore.
Finally.
Which is great because I'm gonna obviously play the male character and wear like
the female armor,
the banana hammock armor. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
If there is not a mankini, I will be disappointed.
Yeah, without question. I want to find that map so that people can see it. Oh, that's him picking up the trap stuff, which is wild. That's
nuts.
Yeah, you see that and it just like breaks your brain.
It's like, wow, that shouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
You can't just pick it back up.
Where is it at in this playthrough? Just like in, is it Rise? I think World also did the same. You can have your secret, your mount will automatically ride you to the monster. So you don't even have to like.
Oh, yep. That was in the.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all in there. The environment itself, I mean, one thing that they touted, I think, all the entire time they've been talking about Wild is this idea of they want it to feel not so much like they want it to feel like you're hunting the monster, right? But it's also that you're in this environment and that the environment itself is a character within the game or an entity that you're having to work with or utilize or whatever. And I think in the gameplay that they showed, that rang true first and foremost. Like there's so many things happening. He just shot the top of a tree and a trap fell down. That stuff was in World, but it was always kind of, you had to go out and look for it. This seems
janky.
It seems very much present in the world itself and the ecology of what's going around you and the weather and things just coming in, different sandstorms swooping in and changing the environment. That all looks really good.
Are there going to be 3 maps too? We're just seeing the first map.
Yeah, so we know there's 2 maps. There's this map and there's a forest map because in the Wild, in the Gamescom trailer, they showed the spider and that's in the forest biome. And so we know that there's at least 2 biomes. I'm sure there will be 3 or maybe even 4. But yeah, they got to have like a fire and ice biome, right? Like that's a Monster Hunter staple at this point. God, where did they put
this game and GTA 6 next year is stacked.
Next year is very
and that's just the beginning. There's a ton of other games that are coming out next year that are, it's gonna we were worried about next year not having releases and.
Okay, there's the map.
Yeah.
You can see a little bit of the map spinning around and like how big that first zone is and utilizing it.
That map is 3D?
Yeah, so he can go vertical on it and tilt it.
Oh, that is awesome.
I think they show a little bit more of it.
Can you full screen it?
Oh, you mean like this? I don't know what's going to happen when I push this button.
No. I meant the map.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, that's cool too. That's cool. You did good. That was good too.
Yes, you can. Right here. Look, right here.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was asking about. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that looks great.
Let's go back. Okay. See a little bit more.
Yeah, that's
footage. Yeah, they pull it up here and kind of show you. See, they're just tilting it up and down.
That is amazing.
The map looks huge. It shows you all the monsters on the screen, and it just looks phenomenal. It looks. Dan, you were right on point with it. Like they're a little cocky, and it's because this looks so good. And it's fascinating talking to.
Well,
what?
They're confident.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point.
Confident.
It's a good point to say. It's wild going and talking to people, and them saying like, "Yeah, I can't wait to play that. The last Monster Hunter I played was World." And I was like, well, Rise came out. And they're like, yeah, I wasn't a fan. I skipped it because of it was Switch. It had a different art style. Like that's what I did. This is the true successor to Monster Hunter World for me. And that's like an overwhelming amount of people.
I am in that boat. That is
bought
me.
World, yeah.
Very in that camp too. Rise didn't do it for me.
Yeah. So this game's gonna be
It's not,
huge.
and for the record, it's not because Rise is bad. It's just there were enough factors where I was just like, I'd rather play something else. Like the Wii thing in particular.
Yeah.
For me, that was a deal breaker. Like I love, especially going from Worlds where it was beautiful. I don't think I could go back at this point. Tried a little bit, just wasn't there.
Yeah. So I think, Danny talked about next year being crazy with this and GTA 6. Like, this will probably be one of the best-selling games of the year. Like, World was a massive game, and this is looking to be on the same
selling
point.
game ever, right? Like, World
was
sold more than everything else they've ever done. That was incredible.
Yeah, it was huge. And there's it's 1-to-1 now in release schedule. So it's not just going to be, and maybe that added to the actual sales of the title because you bought it twice. You bought it once on console,
Maybe,
bought it on PC after the fact. But it might have just saturated the market so much now that it doesn't matter. People are just going to buy it regardless.
By the way, for those that don't realize, I absolutely know the Switch and the Wii are different things, but the Switch might as well have the Wii hardware, so I just call it the Wii.
Oh yeah, we kind of just. It's funny that we both just were like, "Oh yeah, he means the Switch." We didn't even think about that.
I just call it the Wii. I might as well be. So
that's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, I don't have any other. There's so many small little tidbits that they showed through these little 2-hour stream sessions. So if you're Monster Hunter Wild inclined, definitely go check them out. They're on the Monster Hunter YouTube channel under the streams section. There's another thing. There's AI teammates now. A full group of AI teammates.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see, like, there's
That is
so
cool.
many decisions that they need to make. Like, here's my biggest question. Am I going to be able to watch my AI teammates beat a monster?
Yeah. They showed a lot
like,
of
no,
that.
no, because, no. I mean, like, from beginning to end. I mean, like, are they going to allow us to have our AI teammates beat a monster? And then here's the thing. There's no right answer to that. Because if you say, yes, they can do that, well, obviously it's like, well, that's a big deal. People are just going to let their AIs do it. But if you say no, then it's like, wait, are you saying that it's not the same as a teammate? Like, where are the limitations? How are you limiting it? So, like, it brings up all these interesting design questions. Like, how are they going to do it? And I'm very curious to see, like, how they do that.
Yeah. Chat was very quick. They were in Rise. I never utilized them myself, but
how did they do it in Rise?
They weren't that good, apparently. In terms of like they couldn't do what you just described in terms of like killing a monster by itself.
Interesting.
We'll see.
They're more about like distracting the monster so you can get hits in versus
like somebody in my chat.
Yeah.
Somebody in my chat just said, "Is it going to be like Dragon's Dogma?" And that's what I'm wondering too. Like, how good are they going to be? That could be really cool. But someone also said apparently in Rise it's like 10% normal damage. So
okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
We'll see how they balance it in here.
A bit non-committal with those numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best way for them to do it would be they're good enough to help you in the in the low tier hunts to get you to understand how the game works. And then the second that you like bring them into the high level or high tier hunts, they're not that great. I think that would be a good middle ground to try to ease players into the system that is Monster Hunter. Because like, if you've never played a Monster Hunter game, it's a lot to take in at first. There's a lot going on in the game to try to understand.
A lot of us we don't like to go into multiplayer stuff without knowing what to do. So like having AI companions gives you like a little taste of what it's like to play in a party. So when you go in, you don't feel embarrassed by not knowing how everything works. So it's good for that.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good point. So it's looking good. Go watch those streams. If you're all inclined to play. And we still don't have a release date on this. I thought we were getting a release date. I guess we'll see what happens.
Never.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens in September. At the end of September at Tokyo Game Show. Maybe release date. Maybe a demo announcement. I could very easily see this being the demo that we one day play. If they refine it a little bit. I want to say they mentioned that they're still having some issues with getting multiplayer to be like perfect. And so that might be one of the reasons why we don't have this yet. And some of these streams where they did play multiplayer with some of the other people there, some of the other devs, a monster would just like not work for one of the players.
Oh.
It was just kind of like a little glitched. So I could see that being an issue, and might be why they're not being super open about when that stuff is going to happen.
Monsters not working in Monster Hunter. We'll mark that down as issue.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
Life
issue.
problem.
We'll check that off.
Yeah, huge issue. There.
Monster not monning.
Yeah. So I fully expect we'll get some more news at Tokyo Game Show, and then possibly a release date at Game Awards in what, I guess a little over 3 months.
This is the third company this year that has announced something like, tune in to the Tokyo Game Show to hear like our next main announcement. Is something happening with the Tokyo Game Show this year that's amping it up a little bit? I don't remember hearing about like this many companies kind of saving their announcements for it.
I think Tokyo Game Show used to be bigger than it has been in the past decade or so, right? And I also think the idea that there's no more like proper E3, that maybe Tokyo Game Show is taking up a little bit of that space for publishers and marketers. But like back in the day, Tokyo Game Show there was E3 and then there was Tokyo Game Show, right? Like it was huge.
Big.
That's actually why I'm
Huge.
asking. Like TGS used to be huge and it's still really big.
It's
but
still
like
big,
we kind of never really heard about it. But this year, like this is the third major company that has now said like, hey, here's a bunch of stuff, but stay tuned for TGS. And it's like, that's new. That's seemingly new.
I'm all for it. Maybe
Same,
not for it from a coverage department because it'll be
Like,
very odd
do
hours.
we cover it?
Yeah, it'll be at like
middle
of the night. Like it'll be like 3 a.m. most likely when that stuff airs live. So it's kind of hard.
I don't think we've never covered any TGS stuff, have we?
Not live at least. Yeah, we've definitely covered it on the show, but
I feel like this year we're gonna have to do the next day. We're gonna have to do a watch or something.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of big announcements that are gonna be there.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like it. So we'll.
Yep, Yakuza's at TGS. These guys are at TGS. Now Yakuza makes sense. Ryuga Gotoku. I mean, that's like their big thing. But Warframe, the Warframe devs, they actually like
they're going
at TennoCon. They actually said, "Stay tuned for our big announcement at TGS this year." They like actually saved stuff at TennoCon for TGS. So, like it's Death Stranding 2 is going to be at TGS as well.
Cool.
So like there's like a lot of like big stuff happening.
Cool,
which is kind of fun. So
yeah, I had no idea that usually everyone talks about like Japanese devs coming over to the Western audience, but now it's Western devs going over to the Japanese audience.
Everyone's just going everywhere. It seems like, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
And maybe that's a great segue to talk about how everyone's going to be going to China soon because Wukong just blew the fuck up, man.
For a second, I was like, where are we going with this? Okay.
Like Wukong is people are going to work tomorrow and they're going to start learning how to speak Chinese at all these game developer companies. Because holy shit, Wukong passed 10 million copies sold, 3 million concurrent players. I think 2.4 of that was on Steam alone. The other 600,000 was from other platforms. But yeah, in 3 days is the other big thing there. Wukong is just a massive success, no matter how you look at it.
Also, some of the most ridiculous articles ever written after their numbers came out. Like,
how so? What's the context? I saw a little bit of the context.
Wukong loses 2 million players overnight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I did see that's
really,
that's some,
turns. Their next turn. People require 8 hours of sleep daily.
We need clicks.
What? I think some of the art, but the worst part was like they make those articles, but then spend like literally double-digit portions of the articles talking about just completely unrelated stuff about their numbers, and it's like, how can you possibly Oh, it was infuriating. And there were multiple articles like that.
Yeah.
Multiple articles talking about how there was a giant player dip after 24 hours. Just like, what are you talking about?
God.
And a
It
single
was
player
crazy.
Game at night? No
I mean,
way.
yeah. I think that's just like where a lot of it's so much part of a bigger discussion, right? Because like journalism as a whole in terms of gaming, that is a part of it, but that's like the shit part of it. But it also drives so much of what people read now. And like that's a huge SEO faction of the Wukong conversation, right? Is 2 million. If you put that in a title, there's going to be a lot of things like, oh yeah, it had 2 million players, but now it lost 2 million players. Come check out this article. And then just like you said, in the actual body of the article itself has nothing to do with that, right? It has nothing to do with the fact that it lost 2 million players. They're just talking about the massive success of the game. So it sucks. That whole thing sucks. I agree with you, Co.
Yeah.
Where it's just
Clickbait,
it's just bullshit.
like nature of game journalism right now is really exhausting.
Oh,
Like, there's
journalism.
so-
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
journalism in general, like, there's a lot of these companies are struggling to make ends meet, so they need these like big clickbait articles to get you to come and click on the article and try to find the article in amongst all the ads that are there.
Yeah.
It's
So
in a weird
what-
place.
3 days ago, okay, PC Gamer had one job: make a headline for the new Batman game.
Uh-huh.
And their headline was, "Billionaire Playboy beats up on homeless people."
Really?
Oh, hold on. Let me tell you the exact title of the article. And this was by PC Gamer. Okay, here we go. Watch a latex-clad billionaire punch out poor people in the debut gameplay trailer from Batman Arkham Shadow.
Wow. I mean, they're not wrong, but what the fuck?
I know. That was kind of my thing was I quote tweeted it and I said, "Manager, I'll say it again. I don't care what you make the title. Just get clicks." Editor, "Okay, but you asked for this."
God, man. I'm like, PC Gamer is a pretty
Oh my
respected
God.
platform too, but I can't. Well, no, I mean, once upon a time, yeah. Like they're a big name within the industry. Let's go with that.
Last few years have been rough for all journalism.
Yeah.
And PC Gamer is in that boat too.
Yeah, but that's just like you can't even defend that. That's just a weird thing to do. Like what?
Trying to find the worst way to word that ever.
That title is one of those saying the quiet part out loud when it's like, "Oh, really? All you care about is clicks these days?" Okay, well, thanks for letting us know at least. It's like,
yeah.
what I don't even, not even sure what to, like, how can anyone take that differently?
Yeah, no, that's wild. Yeah, that's the business they're in, right? Is clicks.
Oh,
Ultimately.
also, for the record, their tweet that says that watch a latex has an actual Twitter note under it. Batman does not punch random poor people, as the tweet suggests. He specifically attacks criminals.
God, imagine
God.
you have to write a caveat for
Thank
your
you.
article that's so clickbaity.
Thank you, community note, because I was worried. I was worried that the character Batman liked to get all dressed up and just go out at night, and instead of, you know what, I'm going to take a night off crime tonight and just punch poor people, because that's what I do as Batman.
It's the source of his power.
Dude, it like, as someone
Oh my
with an
God.
actual journalism degree, it like hurts my soul, the fact that that's like where that's at, right? Like that's where that's at.
That's where we at. That's where we're at.
Like,
Yep,
fuck
that's where
me.
we are.
Oh my God. That's just ridiculous. Anyways, I did not know that there were like the 2 million players lost or whatever of Wukong. What is this? Did I pull into your? Oh, you're turning on G-Sync. I got it. I see what you're doing here. Yeah. So you guys have both played it. Different chapters. I think I don't know how many chapters there are in the game, 6 or something like that. I've barely played 3 hours. I
would like to thank Dan for dying on this boss, as I did many, many times today. Thank you, Dan.
Oh, did I pick
appreciate it.
a boss?
Wake up call.
Is this the struggle?
This guy is there are more than a few
Okay.
struggle buses in this game. This is one of them. This guy is on a bit of a different level when you get to him than other people you fought at that time.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's maybe a great thing for me to open up the discussion then. What is the like how do you surpass that challenge? Is it grinding? Is it get good? Is it
Take it, Dan.
is
Take
it
it away.
like equip properly? Like how does the game handle that?
I think in this game specifically, the most important feature that will drastically change how you play it is learning how to perfect dodge. It is the most important mechanic in the game. And also,
call.
there is a talent in the stamina tree that lets you keep your combo when you dodge, so that it makes it so you can get those big hits off. And once you get that talent, and then you learn how to dodge, that's when the combat goes from really hard to okay, everything's manageable. I just got to learn when I put these dodges in. But every boss is like you have a crazy amount of power in this game if you know like what spells to like focus into, where you can do 50% of a boss's health if you just get him in the right moment with the right spells. It's gearing up and then buffing up the right spells and the right abilities can make a massive difference in terms of how hard the game is.
Yeah. Okay. So I heard a kind of a mix of everything then. I heard some get good. I heard use the right abilities.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
How much of like we live in the world of TikToks now, and my TikTok For You page is filled with don't miss this secret, blah, 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 on Wukong. And there's like a lot of stuff that's easily missed that seems pretty important to get, right?
Yep.
To put it in perspective, I thought I was done with chapter 2 because I had beat the final boss. I'm like, oh, I'm done. Oh, then someone was like, no, Dan, you missed like a little path on the other side. Okay, I'm like, oh. So I went back to the shrine, went down a little path. I spent an extra 5 hours doing bosses and areas that I had no idea were there.
Entire new regions,
all
like
optional?
little like play areas, completely optional, behind quests on NPCs that you can just not talk to if you don't want to.
That's
crazy. Great. That's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
One thing that a lot of people were saying, oh, this game is just a boss rush. As you get deeper in the game, the levels start getting more open and bigger and grander, and the beginning area is a little. It's probably the first chapter is probably the smallest in terms of like size and like space between bosses. But as you get further in the game, there's more exploring, and the world gets bigger, and it gets crazier, and the enemies get harder too. It's a game that rewards you with sticking with it. It's because it starts getting crazy good as you get further into the game. I find the combat extremely satisfying. It's not quite as hard as Elden Ring, but it's not quite as actiony as God of War. It's a nice middle ground between those two games, where it's more actiony than Elden Ring and a little more RPG than God of War Ragnarok. And I thought it was just like a really fun mix with a weapon you don't really see a lot in games, which is a bow staff. I never thought a bow staff could be super cool, but they found lots of ways to make it feel good and have lots of nice moves. I was very impressed with all the different stuff they had this staff do.
Are you able
overall?
Well, I was gonna say,
overall, extremely satisfied with the game.
Are you able to, like, and some of the gameplay that you're seeing here from Dan? Like, are you built differently than his Wukong is, or is there?
Well, JP, I'm just built differently in general.
is there like?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. There's all sorts of different things you can do. So there's a pretty extensive skill customization system. And there's like 3 different fighting stances you can choose from, and each of those have a path you can go down.
Yeah.
There are 4 active abilities, but then you get more than 4 abilities you can choose from for that 4. So then you get to choose which are your active abilities, and then on top of that, how far you spec into each of them. And then depending on some of them, they actually have like splits that you have to go down. So you have to choose like which path. You never have enough, at least I have not gotten to the point in chapter 3 that I have anywhere near enough skill points as I want. So it is much more of you have to kind of pick and choose what you want to be good at. There's also a lot of skill points that give like passive things. So you're choosing between like, do I want to add the ability to continue my light attack combos, or do I want more defense, or do I want my immobilize skill to do more damage, or do I want my duplicates to be more healthy, or like all sorts of things. And then on top of all that, there's then the stances that you can go into, and those give you power points, which do different things based on your armor. So there's a lot of stats, a lot of builds, and different equipments that can go on top of those to even add more diversification.
There's even like a whole spirit system where there's dozens of different spirits you can equip. I have the one where it's like a big head that slams down and does massive damage, but there's all kinds of ones that like do range attacks, magic, poison, fire. Like it's the mind-numbing how many like options there are.
And those are all upgradable.
And then what's
as
even
well, right?
not only that,
Upgradable,
what's
yeah.
even cooler is they're upgradable and they all have a serious passive that is big. So like I'm using a giant tiger that raises my attack but lowers my maximum HP. So I kind of have a berserker state that's permanent on my character, which is really fun.
Nice.
So and then the best part about all of this, instant respecking for free whenever you want.
Oh, so it's all free.
So I am constantly trying new things. I'm constantly testing. I will even respec for a boss. Like, oh, this skill doesn't work on this boss. Cool. Let me drop that skill, put in a new one. I'll despec out of it so I can get more points for other stuff. And all that works fine.
Yeah, I need to play more. every day I've woken up and been like, God, there's so many games I want to play. This has always been kind of first and foremost.
It's a damn solid game, man. It's real solid.
Yeah.
The armor sets are so cool looking. There are so many amazing
They
looking
look great.
gear that you can wear.
Well,
If you like fashion, it's amazing. And you can upgrade those to be strong if you like a particular set.
Yeah.
To keep it relevant.
I know Co and I
just
did.
got to that myself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know Co and I did. Dan, I'm not sure if you did, but we all did some sort of sponsor for this through NVIDIA. Kind of have to talk about the graphics. It's how this game was first, I think, caught a lot of the hype whenever it was shown half a decade ago or something like that. It's wild that this game looks this good. Like it's crazy impressive.
The story is a really good tale, but I really go bananas when I pause and look at the amazing graphics.
Yeah, was that your sponsored tweet? Is that what we just heard?
Yeah.
Nice. Bad puns aside, the opening of this game, it was like I still think about that opening almost every day because just how gorgeous it was. And they almost invite the player to be like, fuck it. We're not going to, I had a great point told to me the other day. And all the Dark Souls games, they open up and it's usually the first boss that like beats your ass, right? And it's like, welcome to Dark Souls. In this one, the game literally invites you to just be like, hey, you're going to be a fucking badass for the first like 20 minutes of this game.
No.
You don't think so?
What this game does is they're like, hey, so you're feeling pretty good? Well, check out this big giant ass head.
No. I'm talking about the very, very, very beginning. The like opening scene.
They wait like 3 minutes and then do that.
I would agree with that. But the opening scene is very much like, hey, here's a power fantasy. And then after that, you go fight the blue guy with the head. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
A lot of us, like, we saw pics of this game and we're like, this game looks really cool, but I don't really know what it is. But that opening cloud fight, that made me go, oh, that's what this game is.
Gorgeous,
Really
gorgeous
fun.
One of the really that technique that they used is a fantastic way to bait the player into your game because it immediately gives the player long-term goals.
Totally.
You play that first 3 minutes and you go, this guy feels awesome. Everything's unlocked. These abilities are incredible. This is amazing. And then a minute later, you have none of them and you're looking at the giant skill list. And the first thing you think is, what do I need to do to get that strong again? Which is exactly what the devs like. That's the beautiful reason that you see that in games so often. Yeah. And this game does it incredibly well. Not only does this game do it well, but in that same sequence, which of course is normally designed to pull you in from like a mechanics perspective, the cinematography on that first section
crazy
is movie quality.
Yeah.
Like it is incredible. You are literally watching like a Pixar style like I'm in seats right now. Like this is amazing. So like all of that combined, it is arguably one of the better. I call them teasers, but it's arguably one of the better teasers I've seen at the start of a game. They do it so well. They do it so well.
Yeah.
The game became more than just a game. It became art when I beat a chapter and got to see the cutscenes between the chapters. The cutscenes between the chapters are brilliant. If you can at least get to the end of the first chapter to watch the first cinematic, they are worth beating each chapter because they're so enthralling and just breathtaking when you witness just the pure creativity and art that's just in those cinematics between the chapters.
Nice.
Okay, that reminds me. Ready to talk about the not so great stuff?
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, if any game needed a map,
I've heard this
Oh,
complaint.
God,
Yeah.
yeah.
oh my God.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I get not having a map. I understand the more immersive elements. I get it. But when you're going to put giant levels that don't have good landmarks for navigation, and then most importantly, you're going to make parts of them missable. Like that's the key word is no map and missable. Like, oh, that's so frustrating because there's so many times when I'm like running in circles going, I want to explore this area completely, but I have no clue what I haven't explored yet because they don't really do like landmarks in this game. Like all the levels kind of look like, sure, there's regions and there's certain things you might remember, but there's entire like multi-minute parts of this game where everything just looks the same because the levels are super detailed and they all look good. So everything just kind of looks good. So especially when you're going in tunnels and going under things between areas, it's very easy to get turned around.
This
So the big thing
snow is like really bad for that. Everything looks like snow and it's rocks and it's like, have I been here before? Am I going in a circle?
I get it. Did Dark Souls have a map? No, this isn't Dark Souls. It's different. This is a chapter-based game. It's not a giant open world you can explore at your leisure. When you're done with the chapter ends. And yes, you can go back and visit them, but there's missable content that you can miss completely if you don't get it done. So it's different. It's a different thing. It's a different thing.
I will actually say...
And Elden Ring had a map for the record. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm actually... That's a great point, because I was actually thinking like, well, Elden Ring didn't... Oh, it definitely had a fucking map. Of course it had a map. So, you know, we've seen like Lies of P, Stellar Blade, this. We've seen devs start to get to the level of combat of like a From Software title, right? Is the next thing that they're going to start to have to close the gap on level design? Like, do you think From Software is still far and away like the level design gurus, as it were?
Well, okay, here's the interesting thing. This game in general has brought up this interesting discussion on, because we get it all the time, and I'm sure you guys do too. Is this a Souls-like?
Sure. Yeah.
And of course, the question by default is one of general semantics. So let me start with that. But the TLDR is like this. I'm in the camp where I do not feel like this game is a Souls-like. It's far more actiony. It is more God of War than Dark Souls. Although it does have Souls-like elements, like bonfires, and of course, those are elements we see in a lot of games of this type. But I would say this is much more of like a standard ARPG than a Souls-like. There are lots of people that disagree with me, though, and there are lots of people that think like this is the next iteration of a Souls-like. So what you're saying, like how does this need to catch up or catch up? I don't know if it's really a catch up. Yeah, I don't know if it's really a catch-up situation, as it's more of a finding their own voice situation. Because one of the reasons that Souls-like came around was because Souls-likes are just ARPGs, but they were so unique that they needed something to differentiate from them. Like, you know, at the time, it was their bonfire system, it was their slower tactical system. You started seeing games come out that were copying that. Not ARPGs, but that. So they became Souls-likes because of how unique they were. So now we're kind of in this position where a lot of the stuff that made Souls-likes uniques are just kind of, they're in so many different ARPGs at this point that just because you see those small things to hang on to does not mean it's a Souls-like. Because a lot of what made a Souls-like successful has now become a staple in all of ARPGs, many of which aren't Souls-likes at all.
Sure.
I mean, think of like Salt and Sanctuary. It's not even the same genre, arguably, but it's full of Souls-like stuff. So it's that interesting question of like, you know, what is an MMO? What is an indie game? What is a Souls-like? So it's very eye of the beholdery. But to go back to your original question, the thing that I think makes Elden Ring and Dark Souls so special these days is the fact that they are Souls and Elden Ring. They are that world by Miyazaki. It is a fingerprint for him. So like this game, for instance, when you compare it directly with that, or you call it something like that, it's in a lot of ways kind of like pigeonholing it too much. It's restricting what it is, and it's not allowing it to kind of find that own uniqueness, which could then, you know, be something fun and interesting to talk about. So that's one of the things I keep coming back to. I don't call this a Souls-like because I don't feel like it's pigeonholed enough for that. This is way more broad. It's doing way more things, and it's doing them differently enough where it's not a Souls-like. So, and it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
It's its own voice. It's its own thing. So, you know, and that's totally fine. It's okay. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Dimitri agreed, as you can see throughout that. Popped up.
You've got the cat vote. Dan?
Yeah,
Uh-oh, the
it's
dog's here
definitely.
now. He's upset.
I describe it the way it could. It's an action RPG that has some features of the Souls games in it without being a Souls-like. I think to be a Souls-like, you really have to. One important thing is that you have more build variety than this game kind of offers. You're kind of like you're playing one character that has builds, but you're always going to be using a staff. You're always going to be doing melee attacks. Like there's no like ranged or pure magic or pure range.
Very good point.
I think it's kind of important with the Souls-like. Also, there is no punishment for dying. Like you don't lose anything. You don't like. It's very forgiving like that. You just like you can teleport at will back. It doesn't have that like punishing factor. I think that when we think of Souls-like, we think of, oh god, any moment I could lose everything I've gathered. Like this doesn't have that feeling. It's more of a comfortable, you feel powerful, exploration action RPG. So yeah, I think it's like closer to God of War than it is to Elden Ring, but it definitely has some things from Elden Ring that we like you know the bonfires, the teleportating between the bonfires, enemies respawning, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is. I didn't feel necessarily qualified to say if it was or wasn't because I'm only 3 hours in. But hearing both of you talk about it, I agree with it not being a Souls-like game, and that conversation is a little bit deafened now for me.
Yeah, and like I mentioned this whenever we talk about it on stream. Just keep in mind, it's so like to talk about is this a Souls-like or not? It's just a fun discussion to have about games, but people getting heated over.
People get very upset.
Just seriously, this is the last thing anyone should get heated over. Just like every game genre, the definitions are massive and vary from person to person. Don't have fun talking about it, but don't let it be a thing, man.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
for sure.
Don't get mad.
On the topic
of
maps,
it's just a fun game. Doesn't really matter. Like,
just a fun game, and we're talking about why it's fun.
I think everyone agrees with that. Yeah,
let's just have fun with it. You know.
Yeah. Going back to the conversation about maps, secrets are like weird / kind of actual secrets in this game, are they not? Like, there's invisible walls, but it's not an invisible wall.
Dude.
It's like a go and break a rock type deal.
There's one secret that makes me angry how secret it is, where there's this giant wall that you have to use a heavy attack on, but the only heavy attack that works on it is one that has a cooldown of like 2 minutes.
So
it's like somebody just happened to have to try their 2-minute cooldown attack on this wall to figure it out. And it's like, why would you ever do that?
So is that the one that's after / during a boss that you're referencing, Co?
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently the boss can break that wall.
Yes, I was on another show on I cheated on drop frames. I apologize. On Friday, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that wall was just broken for me." So I thought that I didn't even know that was a secret because the boss broke it. And so that's kind of cool that can just happen.
Was that ACG?
Yeah, I was on the ACG,
awesome.
the best gaming podcast as they call it. Yeah, that VOD's already up there. We talked a lot about Wukong because ACG had finished it, and a couple of the other hosts had finished it as well. So
heck yeah, man.
Yeah,
cool.
What else, Co? Because you were in mid kind of conversation in terms of the quote unquote bad of the game. What else is quote unquote bad about this, apart from the map or lack thereof?
The map is an issue. I personally actually, and I know this is sacrilegious right now, but I have some small issues with the combat system.
Yeah.
I think there are definitely times in this game where the lack of button queuing is more frustration than works well. I will frequently find myself spamming attacks just to try to get them to work properly, and they just won't.
Is that specifically the heavy attack?
No. A lot of this is get good on my part, to be clear. A lot of this is get good. But the reason I talk about it is it doesn't feel great when I'm playing it. Some games just feel great even when I'm messing up. Other games don't feel great when I'm messing up, and this is in that category.
Got it.
So that's been a little frustrating. And then the last big thing, let's see, what was it? There was the lack of the map, the slight combat issues. Oh, what was there was one more. Oh shoot, I'm
Vis-
gonna forget.
Visual walls can be a little annoying at times. They're in
Visual
some
walls
weird
a little bit.
places. Yeah.
Oh yes, the story sucks.
What?
Yeah, and let me tell you why.
What?
So the
Isn't
reason,
that like, can you even?
no, hold on, time out. Hold on, let me finish. Okay, story sucks. Let me tell you why. So I was told that this game was based on the Journey to the West.
It is. Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's based on the Journey to the West. Cool. It's not at all.
Oh, it's not.
It's not a Journey to the West. What it is a Journey to the West. The story happened, and this game is a new story based on that. Did you know that in the 3 hours playing?
No. So is
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
Well, I thought so in essence is that the beginning is not. Everyone was like, oh, the beginning's the end, but the beginning is the end of the story.
The beginning is the end of the story,
and
yes.
you're picking
so
up
the idea
after is
yes.
like a sequel. Okay.
You are a new monkey who is getting the relics of the other monkey
Right.
to ascend. But the thing is that here is why I say the story sucks. And for the record, the story does not suck. What sucks is the delivery of the story to the player. And the reason being is because the game doesn't do a great job of keeping the player engaged on what they're doing and what's coming next. And there are frequently times when the play, like a cutscene will happen and the player just wakes up in a new area. And it's like, yay, go.
Sure.
And it's like, you kind of know in the back of your head, okay, cool, I'm still getting the relics. I'm still like, I'm doing the thing. I'm doing that. But it's just the game is very disjointed. They will frequently have characters be the center of attention that have no previous introduction. They will only be there for that scene and then they're gone forever. And the thing is when you're like me, somebody who has never played or read A Journey to the West, I don't know the story. I don't know any of these characters. I don't know their history. So I'm not unless the game tells me about them, I'm not going to be invested in what they have to say or what they're doing or that kind of stuff. So if I knew who they were, then I'd probably be a lot more invested on, oh, it's that guy. Oh, he's the guy that does this, does that kind of thing. But I think the game kind of assumes you know a lot of who these people are. And to the game's credit, there is a lot of reading you can do. Like the first time you kill an enemy or when you kill bosses, you can pull up a little journal and you can read through like a whole bunch of story if you want to. But what I'm talking about right now is just the base game and how it delivers its story.
Mm.
And for that is the part that I think could have been done much better. Like if they would have had a narrator who was kind of like introducing the chapters and the bosses and maybe some of the key events. Like I feel like there could have been much better breadcrumbs in giving this game's story more of a concrete like backbone to follow. And for the record, I'm sure lots of people in chat are like, oh, well, he just wasn't paying attention. He wasn't reading the lore. It's all fine. That's cool. And I get it. But my point is for a casual player, you shouldn't necessarily expect that they're going to do all of that. And you should still be able to deliver a compelling narrative experience in a game that clearly looks like it has one. I mean, it's based on a compelling narrative, right? So you would think the game would have something at least similar.
Sure.
Because it's based on this epic story. But yeah, I'm on chapter 3 now, man. And it like I like watching the cutscenes. I like listening to the characters talk, but I'm not really like invested in anything that's going on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely got that in the 3 hours. And I was confused. I got to I don't know if it's spoilers, I apologize. The thing where you ring the three bells in the beginning of the game, and then that unlocks like the boss. That
Somebody just said, do you also find the story in Elden Ring poorly delivered? What story? Like,
yeah, they're just drawing comparisons to shit.
Yeah, like what, it doesn't even make sense. Okay.
But yeah, so when you ring the three bells, that's you moving forward in time, right? That's what they're trying to tell there, is like you skip forward in time after that for that boss fight. Did I understand that or interpret that correctly?
What?
Oh,
I have no idea.
Backwards in time. Oh, okay, it's backwards in time. Gotcha.
Okay.
In the opening of the game. Huh, okay, I'm just reading chat. And under, you ring the bell so you can go into the past. Okay, so that's backwards. There's a time skip there? Yes. There is. That boss is optional as well. But I got something when I beat that boss, so yeah. Anyways, I'm sure there's a lot more of that throughout the game. We're still,
Yeah.
like as a collective, I think Dan's the furthest, and you're where? Beginning of chapter 4, into chapter
Near
3.
the end of chapter 4.
Okay, all right, got you. So he's still
I'm
got
on
a
the
good
final
ways to go.
boss. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are optional bosses missable? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the story and the presentation, but only because I'm playing it like a Souls game where like I expect to not understand what's going on, and I'm expecting like maybe later I'll understand what's going on. But in terms of I haven't read Journey to the West, so I thought this was the story of Journey to the West. So I just learned that just now. But I thought I was like, oh, this is a cool story. I like this. But
Yeah.
to me, the story is simply monkey get powerful to kill gods. That's like the main story, and like everything else is sort of secondary to that.
Yeah.
Every chapter has kind of like cool characters and stuff. Like I've been understanding what they are. Like they're holding my relic. I want it back. That's pretty much the story to me. Is like, oh, this guy is just in my way. I need to kill him to get the MacGuffin, the relic to keep going forward. To me, the best storytelling has been the cutscenes between the chapters, like the little mini
like
stories
little
that
mini
they've been
stories.
telling.
Yeah.
Those
Those have
great.
been wild. Yep. Agreed.
But for me, like, yeah, I thought the presentation is like, it's weird, it's strange. I like you said, I don't know who a lot of these people are or like what they seem to expect that I should know who this person is based on their name, like from the Journey to the West. But I don't know that person. But I'm just sort of like going through it and experiencing it as it's happening and just learning who people are. The storytelling starts getting as you get further into the game, they start getting more elaborate with each of the characters that they're introducing, and you start to learn more about them. The first 2 chapters were a little bit short in terms of explaining who people are and stuff, but especially 4 has been getting to the point where they're really explaining more who key people are as you're playing. So I was able to
great.
learn about who the main players in that chapter were. Just like 3 has been doing a pretty good job explaining who the main villain in that chapter is and their motivations. But as it's been going on, it's been getting better. But I definitely agree the first 2 chapters I didn't really know as much as I'm learning as I get further and further into the game.
Are they all about the same length? Would you say?
They get longer. Each
Oh,
chapter
God.
feels like it gets longer
Oh.
in terms of chapter 4 has been ginormous. Like
Okay.
it's the most Souls-like chapter 2 where the enemies start getting nasty and the design gets nasty. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's exciting.
So it definitely gets there.
Oh, wow. I've never seen this sliding. I'm kind of like spoiling this for myself, but it's also making me, the Valley of Ecstasy, eh?
Yeah. They have little pills everywhere.
Ah. Man, that Journey to the
my.
West story goes hard. Holy shit. How about any enemy variety? Does it keep it up with just like keeping super interesting looking enemies, or is it fight a wolf guy? Because like chapter 1 was like fight a wolf guy, fight a wolf guy, fight a wolf guy, fight the king of the
Most
wolf
of
guys
the
type deal.
variety in the game is in the bosses, not so much the filler NPCs between. But there definitely get more. There's more variety as you get further in the game as they start mixing different things together. But the first 2 chapters were definitely very light on enemies that weren't bosses. They were very similar. But it does get better as you get further on.
Cool.
I definitely see why people call it like a boss rush, because there's definitely times where it's like you kill a boss, you fight like 2 normal enemies, then there's another boss, then like 5 normal enemies, then another boss. Like there are definitely times when that happens. Yeah.
Yep.
In chapter 4, there'll be very long periods where I don't fight a boss. Like the level starts getting big, and there's lots to explore.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, anything else to add to the discussion? Obviously, we haven't finished it, so we can't really. Not going to be like, is this the next game? There's a lot of Game of the Year conversations I've seen from some fellow streamers, and I don't know if I'm there in my 3 hours, but yeah, I've seen a lot of conversation around that.
For me, when I talk about Game of the Year, I'm like, is this game good enough that I could possibly put it in the running at the end of the year? Like, it's not more like this is the Game of the Year. It's more like this game is so good that it will probably be on my top 10 at the end to like narrow down between Game of the Year stuff.
The thing that's so weird to me is, how could you possibly establish a game of the year without beating it first and knowing how long it is and knowing the ending and all that? And then second of all, how could you say it's a game of the year when you don't know what else has come out this year?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could
So,
look
yeah.
ahead and be like, oh, I don't think that's going to live up to it. But still, you're
Maybe.
there's so
Yeah.
many unknowns to that. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
wild,
a lot of unknowns.
wild discussion to have.
Game of the year so far, yes. But even then, I mean, yeah, game's awesome. It's not my game of the year so far or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Dan.
For me, it's like it's been a delightful surprise, and it will definitely be. It's on my top 5 of the game year so far, but again, we still got a lot of games to go through for the rest of the year. But
Yeah.
it's definitely up there. In terms of new IP, though, like very like strongest new IP of the year, because it's like I've been very impressed with just like how well they took the Souls formula and God of War formula and found the unique way to mix them together and have it feel fun and have a really compelling story and on top of that. And by the way, just looking gorgeous as well.
Yeah.
The art
See, Dan,
team of this game will need to win awards. The art team of the environments is just phenomenal.
I have to say, you say best new IP of the year, but I don't know if you've played Thank Goodness You're Here yet.
Oh, really?
I
You
have
enjoyed
not.
it that much, Aiko? I've watched a couple
Oh,
playthroughs
well,
of that.
when you know the source material of that game, and then you think of DansGaming, I think the stars align pretty well. Yeah.
I have not played that one yet. You
Game
recommend
is
it?
one gigantic dad joke.
Yeah, I think like humor-wise,
I will
think
say
it
this.
lines up 1-to-1 with you. Dan.
I haven't laughed that hard in a game in a very long years.
Really? Okay.
I'll
Years.
play that one.
I watched
Dude, please do.
Dodger and Jesse both play that, and I think Strippin did as well. And they all heavily enjoyed it. But you're
It's a
right,
good game.
Co, that the
Thank
humor
goodness you're here. Yeah,
the humor lines up with Dan 1-to-1. Like it is very much.
I think Dan would really like it.
Yeah, you might enjoy that. Dan, I'm gonna toss to you to talk about WoW while I go get this dog a treat so I can continue with the show.
Sounds great.
Okay.
So I'll be right back. Tell us about WoW, Dan.
WoW is a cable network in Ohio that provides internet and television to
JP!
those that live in the area.
It's going off script.
For only
JP!
$5.99 a month, you can have. World of Warcraft just launched their newest
thank God.
expansion,
Okay.
The War Within. They brought back Chris Metzen, who was, if you're not familiar with him, he created the story of Warcraft and Starcraft and the big stuff that you're familiar with. So they brought him back to do the story. And the new expansion has been universally loved by just about everyone. People that have never played World of Warcraft, people that have been playing a long time. They finally got to the point where the game is starting to feel like it's evolved to a point that it's exciting if you haven't played in a while. It's still really fun if you've been playing a long time. And it's just universally liked because the story's been good. The characters have been interesting. The professions and classes have never really felt better. They're just like, it's in a really, really good place because they added hero classes on top of the regular classes to where you can now specialize your character even further along to have like special power stuff. I've been playing Elemental Shaman and having a lot of fun with that. Elemental Shaman feels super fun, and like if you just want to have that like lightning wizard fantasy or elemental fire person, it feels really good. It's also never been better if you're a single player player. Some of us we play WoW like a single player game. We play our little character. We don't group up with anyone unless we have to. We see people over there. We run away because we're shy. You can now do dungeons by yourself with follower NPCs. And not only can you do them by yourself, the followers have story bits and stuff. They'll talk to you as you're doing the dungeon with the NPCs. There's also delves, which are little mini dungeons where you can go in with your NPC companion that you level up and gear and choose this build and stuff. And then you can do this little mini dungeon where you have like objectives and you just gather loot and stuff. You can set the difficulty up or down and you get more loot if you're like set it harder. But the game has never really felt better. Like professions feel good, the classes feel good, the story is good, the environment is good. It's just like people are really liking the expansion, and it's currently like it feels to me like they're one expansion away from possibly being to almost equaling that the high of the Wrath of the Lich King, where
Man, okay.
everyone feels like they're coming back.
So
Wow.
fuck you, Dan, because one, I got some goosebumps when he said that. And
Okay.
two, I fucking said the question the other day, is Blizzard almost back?
Oh God.
And I thought, like, are they almost like D4 is kind of doing a good job right now?
Yeah.
Like D4 is kind of fucking crushing it. Like the
They
past two
cut out the
two
cancer
seasons
that was
are really
Bobby,
good.
and now like it seems like they're healing, and it's like I don't want to get too much hope, but
And
between the changes
then
in
it's like
D4,
Overwatch is really bad.
I'm loving hearing you two and reading chat.
No, that's right. Yeah, but like it's wild because
JP, is Blizzard back? Chat. No!
Hashtag
No, they are
Yeah.
not!
it's. I will say for the people that act and this, if they're not mad already, this will piss them off. For the people that actually play Blizzard games at this very point and not just shit on Blizzard because they're being Blizzard, the games are in a really good place. At least D4 and WoW respectively. Overwatch is still Overwatch.
Overwatch is Overwatch. Yeah, it's not changing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's wild, Dan. Like I'm like kind of excited about Blizzard again. To like tone that back, I think I'm more comfortable saying I'm excited about like Blizzard products again. This seems to be in a really, really good spot. And that being said, did you touch on the early access stuff? Because you have to crucify them for that. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Is stupid.
Yeah,
that is stupid. The 4 days early access if you buy the premium edition.
Yeah, they early accessed WoW, which they did with Diablo, right? And like they got flagged for that. But and Final Fantasy does early access as well, but that's just a pre-order bonus. It's not necessarily pay extra. This was pay $90 and get into the game 4 days early. And like that sucks. Like you can't.
Stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I say that as someone that bought it, right? And Dan as well. It's not it's unfortunately going to be successful, and it's the norm of the industry. But
tell me this: did it work?
Yes. Yeah.
Was the server smooth? Was
there have been
smooth?
zero server? At the very very beginning, some people didn't have the NPC pop up. I think with some of the issues, but like server stability wise, it definitely.
Oh no, chat. I'm not saying did it work and make them money. I understand that. My question was, did it work and they staggered the release? Because that's obviously what they were planning on doing. If you separate the haves from the have-nots, then that means that you will have less of a hit on your servers on release.
Yeah.
So I was asking, did it work? Were there technical issues? And apparently it did. It did work.
I sometimes go back to where the expansion starts out in the vanilla zones. There's a bunch of people still standing there waiting. I usually spit on them and then let them know that I'm better, and then I go back into the expansion.
Okay. First of all, wow. Second of all, hold on. Chat's saying it's not out yet.
What? No. So the game doesn't actually launch till Tuesday. Early access started. Sorry. It launches tomorrow.
What?
It launches tomorrow.
Okay.
It launches tomorrow night.
Everyone can play tomorrow that owns it.
Yeah. If you bought the game and
so the only people in right now are the ones that have paid.
That paid $90.
So we have no idea if it's worked yet.
Yeah, I mean we know
because we're not going to know until the servers are open and we're going to see if they get flooded.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. I guess. Yeah. We won't know of like the full load, as it were, of an expansion at launch. So until tomorrow.
On that note, has Blizzard been at all public with how many people have been playing in EA?
I haven't seen them tout any numbers or anything like that. No.
They haven't done their we have this many players yet. So not yet.
Sometimes companies do. But
they do if
it'll be really interesting to see. Yeah, if the stuff happens tomorrow and there are major server issues, like that's going to be a real black eye with that prepay stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to be unfortunate.
Yeah. We'll see if there is. There is a, whether it's on purpose or not, there is like a, how do I say it? Like an aura of confidence. The fact that like Blizzard as a company was so heavily involved at Gamescom, and like the team of WoW was at Gamescom while this was launching into early access. Like usually there's a little bit more like focus on the fanfare of an expansion. Granted, that might be happening tomorrow night for like the actual release. But when you have your entire team kind of off in another part of the world, focusing on, you know, promotion and whatnot, there's a little bit of like, yeah, we're going to be fine associated to glean from that.
You know, somebody just said this in chat, and I have to admit, like, now that I've read this, I think I feel the same way. It's not fair to call it early access, even if they name it like that, because they're actually just punishing people for not buying it for $90.
But then, yeah, but then you got to look at all early access.
I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that reframes like every early access.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like that's kind of like when like early access can mean a lot of things. A lot of things.
Yeah.
And it can mean things from a PR perspective or a development perspective kind of thing. When early access means you pay more to get the game earlier, the full version, like I totally understand where he's coming from. But weirdly enough, like early access can mean also wildly different things.
Very well. Yeah.
So,
very much can.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
I mean, that's a great point, dude. Yeah, it's a great point. Calling that early access does feel very weird.
For what it's worth, and Dan, I don't know if you hit on this when I was away, but a lot of the content in the game right now is not live. So you can't do heroic dungeons. You can only do normal dungeons. Those go live tomorrow when the game goes live. So you can only, it's, I think they might have mislabeled it because it's kind of a head start more than it is early access. Because you can't, like, all you can do right now is level to max level. You can do the delves, but you can't do the raid. You can't do the high-end dungeons. You can't do the biggest complaint of people playing early access is they finish the story, they hit max level, and then they have to go level an alt. So that's, I think that comes down to the early access framing again, just like you were saying, Co. Like it's kind of like a head start more than early access.
Somebody said earlier they should have called it delayed access. And it's kind of
that's what they're doing in terms of the structure of it. Yeah. They're if anything, Blizzard is very much positioning WoW to become a game as a service in the modern day framing of what a game as a service is, because everything is structured now on a timetable for when it's going to release. And they've done a lot of that in the past, but they're making it a very big point to like, you can't do this until X date when that launches in the season. And then in part 2 of the season or week 3 of season 2 or whatever like that. Like it's very much structured to be a game as a service, but it kind of already has been, if not the first game as a service ever, if you really want to get down to it. So it's interesting to see all of that, I suppose. But yeah, you know, all that aside, early access aside, it's pretty fun. Like they seem to have done a pretty good job of making like WoW fun again.
As I was saying when you were gone,
enjoyed it, man.
As a casual player, the game's never been better. If you just like to play by yourself and level up alts and quest and explore and stuff, it's like really solo friendly now. Especially dungeons can be done solo, like delves are soloable. It's really, really fun. I've been enjoying, and the story's been really fun to do all the quests and stuff.
Yeah. I think really everyone always, it's so hard to like judge an MMO when it comes to an expansion, at least at launch, because MMOs are not about the first 3 days. They're about the first like 3 months, right?
Good point.
And so it's always like, what is the initial impression? And it seems pretty positive. I think Dragonflight started that way as well. From people that stuck around and played for multiple months. Dan, I don't know if you played. I know you played Dragonflight at launch, but I don't know if you stuck around.
I didn't stick around. I just played the beginning.
Yeah, and I think that's the majority of folk that play WoW is they'll pop back in for the expansion launch. I heard that it was like a pretty okay expansion. It had its ups and downs, but for the most part, it was a pretty positive experience, and it seems like they're kind of building on that now, and moving forward. And I do agree with you. Like if they continue with this and it's positive and they're able to like knock out the second one of this new like trilogy that they've started, and they can kind of like put it in a really good spot and then bring home the third one, the finale of all of that, that'll be kind of a cool thing to see. Unfortunately, they're going to find themselves exactly where Destiny 2 and Final Fantasy 14 are right now, where you have to start over and people aren't super excited to like bring everything back down in terms of, you know, the importance of everything, I guess is what I would go with. But
A lot of us old timers too, like we put like 3-4 solid years into old Warcraft, and it was like a full-time job. I don't know if I want to ever get back to that point again where I'm like raiding like 4 nights a week and have to like do everything outside raiding to prepare for each raid. Like I don't know if I ever want that again. So I like to come in, experience the expansion stories, and then I'm kind of done after that. I don't want to do like the long-term raiding and stuff ever again. It's I don't have that time in my life anymore.
sure, yeah, and I think, you know, given where this game is at, like Blizzard is in a lot of ways like catering to that. Like this delve stuff, you can eventually get the same gear that mythic level raiders can get from it,
I'll be right back.
with like not as much investment, and that kind of pissed a lot of the like super hardcore community off, that they're going to be able to get stuff like that.
I think Blizzard realized with these late expansions that there are way more casual people playing this game than there will ever be like the hardcore raiders. Like they're a minority in comparison number wise. A lot of us, we like to make our alts. We like to do little quests. We like to do our little dungeons. We like to abandon our character when we see another cool character that has a cool ability we want to try out. And like we never really stick too much with one character. It just feels fun.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Like the delves are great for solo play and stuff. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's really good. Chad is crucifying, so I'll just verify. You can get, the mythic +5 keys, I guess, is as high as it goes from the item level, according to Wowhead, from the delves. So not from the raids, but from I think mythic plus dungeons, I guess is what that is. And are those forever scaling? Do those go, I don't know like how that goes.
I think like 20 plus is like when it starts to get really, really hard and it starts to really challenge people.
Okay, so not like the super 30, high end.
Yeah,
then.
It's very low tier, very like casual level.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so nowhere near like the tip top raid gear. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to add. Are you using the default UI here, by the way?
Yeah, they changed it so you can now take the vanilla UI and just rescale everything, move everything around. So
same here.
I've always liked vanilla UI. I just use it and just tweak things around to my liking.
I was kind of shocked when I loaded in and just started using the vanilla UI, and it was fine. Like I didn't have any issues with it.
It's fine. It works. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good in that regard.
It took me a good 40 minutes just to learn all the abilities and put them on the hotkey bar. That was a pain in the ass. But other than that,
yeah, dude.
Jump back in. It's hard.
The last time I played retail WoW was Dragonflight, and the last time I played WoW was during that hardcore stint with OnlyFans and the rest of the Twitch world. And so jumping back into this, I was just like, "What the hell am I looking at? Like this, none of this makes any sense to me."
That's why I didn't take the sponsorship, man.
Yeah, because it had just been confused.
They were seriously like that. You know, hey, you want to do a sponsored World of Warcraft release? And I was like, for retail? They're like, yeah, for retail. And I was like, are you crazy?
Yeah, they did.
Like, I've never played retail, and you want me to do I literally spend 2 hours just figuring out my UI. Like, no.
They're doing a lot of sponsors for it, and not just like
they posted a list today.
Yeah,
it's a lot of people.
not just like a one and done stream, like multiple streams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
They were offering me a pretty sizable package, and I can only imagine what they're like giving to people who stream it all the time, and especially the larger creators that have been playing it. Some of them never play WoW. So
yeah,
they're pushing hard.
Yep. I think that's anything else to add. It seems like WoW is just kind of in a good spot. I guess we'll see what happens with the actual launch tomorrow. I guess is a
we'll see how the servers handle tomorrow. That'll be the real test.
Yeah,
that'll be the big one. Yep.
There will be a pretty big push on Twitch, not only from the sponsored streams. They're also launching a gift a sub initiative in the program, so that'll probably draw a lot of eyes to Twitch and into the game in general. But yeah, an interesting time. It's also it was wild playing WoW after playing Classic for so long, because God, it's not even the same game. Like it's just so different.
Now.
Yeah, it's so different. It's so different for good or worse, or for good or bad,
better
whatever,
or for worse,
better or worse, whatever the saying is. Like, it's got a bunch of stuff in it that's if you don't like it, you don't like it. It is what it is. I'm just going to keep saying things multiple times. Are you guys going to do, by the way, isn't OnlyFans like coming back in October, I think is when that is?
That's what I've heard. So apparently they're coming back for like an SSF thing. I don't think it's in for any servers. I think they're just doing it like an community thing.
Okay.
So
all right.
I think for me personally, I probably won't go back. One of the reasons I went the first time was because I loved that feeling of like a new MMO launch, which is what the hardcore servers kind of were.
Yeah.
But my concern this time around is there's not going to be like the server population is probably going to be pretty low outside of that team. And I personally like outside of Soda, I hate everyone associated with that. So I have no urge to play with any of them. So on that note, no, I won't. I probably won't be playing.
Fair. Look, you gotta put it out there. You gotta let
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, the reason being is when I played last time, I actually did a lot of public grouping. So the idea of going back and having there be, because I play slower than the other guys.
Yeah.
So the idea of going back and like, you lose catching up, and then all of a sudden there's no one else to play with, and then you're just soloing, and that's why I left the first time. Like the third stream, I was soloing WoW. I was like, I don't want to play solo WoW. Like this is not for me.
Yeah.
So
not even being able to
that was
like
it.
to put things on the auction house is going to be crazy. Like WoW was just never designed for that. So I wonder how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
The vendor everything.
I took a look over like what SSF means to them, and I have
pretty
to admit,
hardcore.
like, Soda is pretty ballsy putting those requirements on the people that I think are going to join that guild.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll be tough.
It's gonna be an interesting watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a great for viewer.
It's gonna be fun to watch. Yep, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
That's the big thing. I'm not going to spend more than 2 or 3 minutes on this, but given that you two are both here, I did a sponsored stream for Starfield with their new car. This thing's one. I have to say it's a land vehicle, not a car, by contract.
Really?
Land vehicle.
My tweet had to be edited because I put car and they're like, it's a land vehicle, and I was like, all right, well, fucking whatever. It's a car in Starfield.
Okay.
Like I don't have anything else to add. It does what you want. I played on a low graph planet. And it's absurd.
Does it feel as good as the car from Mass Effect, the Mako with the thrusters?
It's a Warthog. It's a Mako. It's exactly that.
Okay, that's good. It's good to hear.
But we're talking about sponsored streams. If you listen to the ACG podcast, sorry, you've already heard this, but this was a weird sponsor because I started it up and it loaded. When you take screenshots in Starfield, it puts those screenshots as your loading screen. Right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
What did you do?
So when I booted up Starfield for the sponsored stream, the last time I played was when the creation engine had just launched. And so my opening loading screen into the game was fucking Batman in game. And they took Batman off of the creation engine. So it's technically you can't even get that mod anymore for licensing issues. Because I'm sure Warner Brothers was like, get that shit out of there. We don't want that in your get that out of your game. That's our IP. And I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, here's Batman, guys. I'm currently playing as Batman, right? So,
Watch out, homeless people!
Yeah.
Here comes JP.
But then I was like, oh, okay, right. And then I hit load save, and I reinstalled the game. And so when it loaded the save, because the save had all of the mods in it, it started to download all the mods that I had on that save, which is actually kind of cool that it did that.
I was
However,
gonna say that's
all those mods were Star Wars mods.
Oh, no.
So it loads into the game and there's a fucking like Twi'lek walking around and there's Greedo and I'm wearing like Mando armor and just walking around in Starfield. And they're like, it's fine. You know, you're showing off the creation engine. All that stuff was still in it, so you could still get it all. But it was a really funny sponsorship for that. Also, if you are going to play...
It's cool they were cool with it.
Yeah, if you are going to play the car, go to a low grav planet because you could do shit like this and turn the car basically into a gunship, and it's a lot of fun. It's great.
That's fun.
Yeah. Really want to see...
I can't wait, dude.
Really want to see how this factors into the DLC, because it obviously made the game a lot different from like exploration purposes. I wonder if the DLC is going to be all like on one planet, kind of like what it's hinting at. If it is, then this will be a lot of fun. Yeah, it'll add a lot to it.
That's the big hope.
Yeah, there's no storage, by the way, on the car, but you can mod it in. It's one of the first mods that actually is in there in the creation stuff.
Thank you, modders.
Yeah, modders once again saving it.
GG.
You can also turn the car into a Star Wars land speeder from episode 1 or episode 4. Sorry, if you want to. There's a bunch of mods out. You could turn it into the Scooby-Doo van if you want as well. Like there's just wild shit out there. But I figured the two of you would get a kick out of the idea that there's now a car in Starfield. I'm sure you will utilize.
I love it, dude.
In the playthrough.
I mean, especially with the type of procedural generation they did before, the fact that it didn't release with a car is still weird. I mean, because it would have fit perfectly. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like this is probably something they wanted in for release and they just finished it up.
Yeah, yeah. Here's me flying throughout the.
See that that looks awesome. I can't wait to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the
so
17 people who's actually really excited for the DLC. So like having this ready for it is going to be. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
big time. Dan, what about you? How you feeling about the Starfield DLC?
I'm excited. Like I was one of the few people
Hey,
that
18,
really liked
nice.
Starfield. Yeah, I liked it.
Great.
I liked Starfield. It was fun because people were expecting No Man's Sky, but I was not expecting that. I was expecting like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, but in space.
Yeah.
There were definitely parts of it that weren't, like the exploration and base building were kind of lacking, but I was expecting mods to fix that anyways. But story-wise, I thought they had some really good quests, and I'm excited to have a whole planet that's like just that level of quest writing. Hopefully, it's fantastic. I'll definitely jump back in.
Was there a new trailer for that at GamesCom, or was that before GamesCom for the Starfield?
It was before.
Okay,
It was before.
They may have released one. They just didn't do that at an event.
Yeah. Cool. That's that. What else? Anything else that you guys have been playing that we haven't discussed? We didn't even get fucking halfway through the Gamescom news. There was so much stuff.
So much Gamescom stuff.
Yeah. I'll scroll and just see if there's anything big from that. There's
Dune Awakening stuff. Dune's looking okay. It's
Yeah.
looking pretty good. I think a big part about Dune is going to be in the world, like how good they can nail the world and the big mechanics. Combat and everything still looks a little rough.
Yeah.
Kind of like Conan Exile is rough.
Yeah.
But if the rest of the stuff is cool, it could be really good. So
Mhm.
we'll see.
There was a cute little game that I played and I saw Cole's play it too. It was called Feed the Deep. It was pretty fun. It's like a $5 game where it's like a roguelike where has like Lovecraftian themes, and the whole the gist of it is that all the cities are floating on top of the water, and you have to go down and feed this creature called the Deep. Otherwise, he's going to come up and kill everybody.
Okay.
And it's a fun little roguelike. I had a lot of fun.
Placating Cthulhu is the name of the game. Yep.
It was only $5, and I had hours and hours of fun. It was great.
Fantastic.
If you like,
Agree.
roguelikes or if you like Lovecraftian lore, I think you'll really enjoy that one.
Nice.
Two final things. I think I finally wrapped up my Knock on the Coffin lid. I still emphatically
Dude, you
recommend
went
that
hard
game.
on that game. Yeah, you
I-
were
I-
you were
I-
playing
I
that
have
game
more I could
so
do.
much.
Dude, and there's still more I could do. If I didn't have like 10 other things I wanted to do, I'd probably still be playing it, to be honest. There's like a bunch of endings I haven't unlocked. The game's amazing.
Yeah.
And then also I was lucky enough to get to do a sponsored early look at the Gothic 1 remake. And oh my god. As a Gothic 1 fan, I am so happy with the state of that project. It is
Damn.
It is so good in terms of what it is that they've copied the original Gothic's layout systems, even with all the problems that came with it, which is amazing. So I mean, it's really, really cool, and it's amazing to see something I grew up with be remade with that kind of fidelity.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that project.
That's awesome. I think it was in the Gamescom stuff when they had the Path of Exile 2 early access launch of November 15th. They also put out this video of boss design that's about 5 minutes long. This
I haven't
game's
seen that
it's just, goddamn, this game's gonna go crazy.
It's gonna be good, JP. We're gonna lose
Can't
so many
wait,
hours
dude.
in this game.
It's
over
gonna
and
be
over.
Wait.
It's gonna be just an absolute. What a great like next 6 months of gaming, potentially with Wilds dropping in February. There's already other stuff dropping in February just to begin with that'll make it super busy. But yeah, this the bosses look awesome in this game. I had
Scissors, I love it.
yeah, I had forgotten that they put guns in this game. Like you're gonna be able to use guns and
Oh, that's my whole class.
yeah, well, it's just I blanked on that was a thing. Guns are in Path of Exile now. It's going to be wild. I can't wait for the amount of people that said I'm not playing PoE at the moment, but I'm waiting for PoE 2. It's going to be staggering. Like I think that number, the player count is going to be one that makes the headlines whenever this launches. Is it going to be everyone can play early access? By the way, do we know, or is it invite only?
I don't know
or
if they specified.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they've talked yet.
Yeah, if it's everyone, that's going to be so big for GGG.
Being a big launch and then being free to play on top of it means that massive player numbers.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah, so many people are going to be able to get in. What else? Anything else? We got like 3 minutes. Trying to see if there was. Chad, did we forget anything big from Gamescom? I did see Jeff Keighley tweeted out that they had double the amount of viewership than they did last year, with 40 million video views on opening night live. So
Wow.
that continues to do well. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had gameplay. Okay.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I got delayed till next year too.
it did. Yeah, all the Dave the Diver tie-ins. Yeah, they've got a lot of wild stuff coming from that game.
Those guys
I
are a
love
trip,
that
man.
game.
They're
Yeah.
so great.
Dan, what'd you think of the Peter Molyneux stuff with him being in the show? How'd you feel about that?
I didn't listen to anything he said because he just lies all the time. But
It's fair.
the game
It's
looked
fair.
very okay. I don't know. It seemed really early in development, so
Yeah,
it was look like it's got some ideas. It's going for black and white, which was one of my favorite games. I loved black and white back in the day. It was so cool and original. They can just recapture that again. I'm down for it, but the demo they showed was a little rough and a little concerning, but
yeah.
I will give it a chance when it comes out.
There was a story about how he was asked if he had the copyright for the name Albion post game reveal, and he was just like,
Oh no.
"No, probably should have been something I looked into, huh?"
Oh no!
I get.
That's a pretty classic Peter answer right there.
That's a
Yeah, I guess he followed it up. This article is saying he spoke to IGN. Molyneux justified using Albion name by comparing it to the setting multiple games in the same country, something that can't be stopped by copyright. It's like saying if you set a game in America, you can't set it any other game in America, he says. So Albion can't be copyrighted. It's the name for England and Wales, and that's how we get away with it.
That's not how copyright works.
Fable was said in Albion. Masters of Albion is said in Albion. Molyneux clarifies. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, when asked if he was sure that Albion couldn't be copyrighted due to its historical context, he replied, quote, "I don't know if I'm honest. I don't really know, ... I hope so. I mean, you would think that the responsible person I should be, I would have spent the last 6 months in lawyers' offices, ...
Yep, he hasn't changed. Okay.
So this wasn't a follow-up. This was part of the initial conversation, I guess.
Wait, guys. Okay. So Albion is absolutely an old English historical thing.
Yes.
But from what I understood, you can still make a separate entity and call it that, and then copyright that entity's name and the usage of it for that entity and that specific entity's business and that region of business. Is that not accurate?
Yes, it is. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is that it comes down to like how it's classified in its usage in terms of if it's in a video game.
I'm sorry, trademark. I'm talking about trademarking, not copyright. Trademark. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Trademarking.
Yeah. I think it comes down to like the classification of the trademarking. But it wasn't.
I don't think there's like, I don't think it's like, funny enough, I don't think it's like copyright where there's like a free use period or designation for certain things. But I mean, I could be wrong, and maybe that's regional. Turns out I'm not a trademark lawyer.
Yeah, no, that's
now wait, are there any trademark lawyers in chat?
I can call mine. There's an entire industry.
In chat. Wow, what a convenient.
Okay. That'd be. Oh, there's some right there. Great.
Nice.
Oh, there's so many.
Nice. We got a lot of Jom's business.
No, it is. Here. It's interesting to talk about, but I'm sure that no one could answer that properly. I mean, obviously, the people interviewing him and the interviewee couldn't. So, I mean, it's, who knows?
Yeah.
But I think the one thing we all can agree on is that there's no question that Peter should have looked into it more, and that we can all agree on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. that's the one thing we can all agree on in this conversation.
Absolutely. I'm just free scrolling news here to see. I think that's kind of everything. If not, we'll cover whatever the leftover stories are next week. Cool. Dan, I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't know if you,
yes.
I don't know if you saw the Twitter DM, but Zeke's out next week. If you want to join us again, we'd love to have you. If you got something,
I'll do it.
Okay, great. If you got something going on that conflicts, let us know. But otherwise, we'd love to have you back next week. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll grab a guest as well and have a 4 folk show.
Cool.
What is out over the next week? So we got Core Keeper. We got Star Wars. That'll probably be a big conversation.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
that'll be. I am taking a look at that soon. We'll see how it is.
Nice. Yeah, that. I think I saw that the embargo for that is tomorrow, so look out for that, viewers. If you're wanting to see whatever the conversation is, I think it's tomorrow.
I'm one of the few people excited for that one. It looks like my kind of game.
I want it to be good. I'm going in with positive
That's the boat I'm in.
Yeah, I'm a massive Star Wars fanboy.
I want more Star Wars Jedi. That game is awesome. I like Star Wars Jedi. I want more of that. My concern is, from what I've seen, is that this does not look anything like Star Wars Jedi. It looks significantly less interactive, I think is the word I would use. So I'm unfortunately going in with like somewhat tempered expectations from what I've seen.
Yeah.
They're definitely leaning in heavy to the stealth gameplay, and like you're outnumbered, so you don't want to go into direct combat too much.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the game is going to be that. Yeah.
Stealth combat is a weird direction to go in 2024. That's one of my few worries about it. Someone in the chat did ask about Maximilian. Dude, he's still scheduled to be on the show. We had to move him. He's got a bunch of conflicts. He's a busy guy. He will be here on the 8th.
Hex is very busy these
days.
So
he'll join us on, remember, this is episode 399.5. Next week is 399.9. And then on episode 400, which will be the 8th, that'll be when Maximilian Dude joins us. And we'll talk all about 2XKO and fighting games and probably what the hell Mac's been doing instead of getting on the show for the past the 2 weekends prior for that. But yeah, we'll grab some folks and have a show next week. Let's do some shout outs here and finish up this one. Co, what do you got going on? Where can people check you out? What's coming up on the channel?
As always, thank you to JP, and a big thanks to Dan. Got to spend a little bit of time with him recently, and now more today, and it's been great, and more next week. I'm a happy co. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to be diving into more Wukong this week. I'm going to be starting my Core Keeper 1.0 run. We're going to be checking out Star Wars, maybe doing a little bit more 7 Days to Die. We got all sorts of stuff going on. So I hope to see you in the channel over at twitch.tv/GoCarnage. And yeah, we will see you next week, if not earlier.
Fantastic. Dan, what do you got going on? Where can people check you out?
Hi guys, I'm DansGaming variety streamer. Currently this week I'll be playing Star Wars Outlaws. I'll be finishing up Black Myth Wukong. Got Core Keeper coming up because that game was super fun when we played it in the past. Check me out at DansGaming on Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok. I stream live on all three every day, wherever you want to watch.
Fantastic. I got a bunch of games that I want to play. I don't know where the hell I'm going. Core Keeper, I want to start that because that's 1.0. Probably want to try to do a co-op playthrough of that, grab a bunch of people into it. Star Wars, I'm going to at least check it out, see how I feel about it. I think that's kind of where everyone sits on that. Still playing Deadlock, still playing WoW. I got to continue playing Wukong. Unfortunately, these guys got like 20 plus hours on me. So I got another, 40 hours if I decide to finish. I still haven't even finished Rebirth. I got too many games I'm trying to play. That's what happens when you play online multiplayer games that take more time than God. So we got a bunch of stuff. We'll figure it all out and we'll circle back around and talk about them next week. So thank you all for watching. Thank you too for joining. We're out of here. Have a good rest of your week. Bye-bye.